Going in hot.
I can't wait till November 5th. It's going to be good.
Yes, it is. Of course it is.
November 5th. It's going to be good.
It's going to be slow.
It's not going to be slow. It's going to go by
What
fast.
planet are you on?
I'm saying it's going to, when we get there, it's going to go by fast, but I mean, leading up to it, it's going to be slow.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is going to go by really slow.
It's going to be slow.
Okay,
motion.
we're ready.
We're hot.
All right. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 392, recorded on September 15th, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about our exciting news that dropped earlier today on YouTube, video game Christmas, and your questions this week. Jesse, you know what to do. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, peeps out there. This is Tim and the Nintendo Dads crew with episode 392, recorded on September 15th, 2022, as I mentioned at the top. And yes, it's me leading the show today because why not? And
Right.
with me today so far is Marty. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. What a awesome week
Heck
of
yeah.
video game news. Like we had the Nintendo Direct. We had PlayStation State of Play that tried to jump in there and steal their thunder. And then we had the Xbox ID
Yes.
Fall Showcase. And then the best news of all, today we had our big news.
Yes.
And we'll get into here in just a minute. So it's been an incredible week. So I am doing fantastic. I have a Monster Energy. I'm getting a new iPhone tomorrow. I have eaten potato soup today, and I ate ice cream right before we came on air. So wow, any better.
All right, with that, let's move over to Jesse. How are you doing today?
Yeah. Today is one of those fun days where they did try to do a release last night. Something went wrong. They called me at 2:30. I'm like half awake looking at logs for 2 hours before they finally say we need to roll this back because we need to get this back into production before business hours starts. So so I'm like, okay, send me the logs so I can look at them later on when I'm more awake. And so I look at them and I figure out the problem in 15 minutes.
Did they still need the problem fixed at the time you figured it out?
The problem is with the database, not with the code. So we're going to re-roll it out with the correct database entries next week.
Good for you. Look at you swooping in and saving the day.
Now here's
Huzzah, sir, I
here's
say.
something
Huzzah.
Nintendo can do is they can send Jesse the logs and he'll charge you by looking them over, and then we can figure out what's going on with their online stuff. So
Yeah,
don't
like
do it
with
at
the
2:30
random
in the morning.
disconnections in Splatoon 3.
just
There you go.
don't- Yeah, not at 2:30 in the morning. All
Now,
right.
we'll at least let you sleep until 4:30.
And Justin will be
Okay.
joining us later too, so I'm sure he's doing all right, and he'll give us an update of what's going on.
He's
in his
busy
world.
playing those brand new Sega games that
He
dropped.
had to
just before
stop
the show.
everything and just
Earthworm Jim.
he had to play
Uh,
those Genesis games. for
Yeah,
sure.
he had to check them out. So
All right, let's head on over to the news. Let's get started. News is brought to you by our Patreons over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. We thank all of them for joining us every time and staying with us and helping us to do what we're going to be talking about shortly. And besides the Patreons, we will also have our sponsors by Manscaped, which I'm sure Justin will bring over to us once he comes on board here. If not, we'll wing it. We'll figure it out. Marty, put away your sword.
Well,
it's a tiny
David
sword.
asks what kind of ice cream.
It was Blue Bunny strawberry swirl cone that had like a ribbon of like strawberry gel through it that had like a cheesecake type ice cream with it was like soft ice cream. And then you get to the bottom, and here's the best part. At the bottom of the cone, guess what's there?
Like a malted milk ball?
A white chocolate stopper to keep it from leaking.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I like those stoppers. Those are nice.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
it's
a treat
so
at the end
good.
of
It's so good. It makes up for the fact that at the high school ball game that I was at earlier, they were selling concessions, and I went to get a snack, and they had bags of chips, and they also had nibblers from Zaxby's. I don't know if you guys have Zaxby's where you are.
No.
But like, it's a chicken place. Okay. It's like a Southern fried chicken place. And they do like chicken sandwiches and tenders and stuff like that. And they have these things called nibblers. They're almost like a little like crystal sized chicken sandwich. They have some comeback sauce on them. And I was like, oh, I want one of those. And they hand me this little chicken sandwich in a bag and said, that'll be $2, please. What? So I'd gotten 2 of them, and this little girl standing there going, here's your nibblers. And I was like, well, now I have to pay $4. And like a nibbler's meal, guys, with a drink and fries. And 3 of those things is like $5.99.
Inflation.
Come on.
It's a high school concession stand.
And then I go back to get a drink later, and you know what happened? They ran out of drinks.
Yep. You're helping pay for what you went to.
And so, you know what? Listen, before anybody's like, man, Marty hates kids. No.
Marty, you do hate kids.
No, I don't. I love kids. I work with kids for a living, but my gosh.
I will say their
high school concession
Cokes
stands.
and their drinks were $1. So I kind of get it.
All right.
There was a big opposing team. Like they had a lot of people on the other side. So I get it.
You know the opposing team is good when there are more visiting fans than home fans.
Well, no, we didn't have that this time, but has happened.
We've had that problem.
Our team played another team last season. I don't know that they're going to this year. They beat them 77-6.
Awesome.
And the opposing team had 3 fans show up. It was not. Like at the end of the game,
it's probably 3 mothers of the quarterback.
At the end of the game, when the opposing team scored on us, our fans cheered because they were so excited that those boys were able to mount an offense enough to get the ball to the end zone.
I think that is very appropriate.
Yes.
And they had to. This is how bad it was too. They could not kick for extra points. They had to run it in for 2 because they didn't have a kicker on their team.
It
was one of those things. Like when you hear 77-6, like understand it was.
Yeah.
They should have mercy ruled that thing.
Yeah, mercy ruled. All right. Anyway. Thanks for the
derailment on the ice cream. You should go check it out. If you don't have Blue Bunny ice cream where you live, God bless you. I'm so sorry.
Yep. Go to Walmart. I think they have them. So, all right. Well, as I was mentioning Patreon, speaking of them and thanking them for what we're about to talk about, which is Nintendo Dad's big announcement today, which was what, Jesse? What did we announce today?
We announced Nintendo Dad Con. Is that what it's being called now?
Yeah, sure.
Dad Con.
Yeah.
We announced that
we are going to New York the first weekend in November. We're going to have a meet and greet at the Nintendo New York store Friday morning. And someone asked is noon a hard stop or is it going to be a floaty all day thing? No, that's a hard stop. We need to catch a train because we need to be in.
We've already paid for the train. Let's just go ahead and say that we've already paid for the train.
Yes.
Yeah, we paid for everything already. So then, because Rome is like it's a 5-hour train ride away or so, but in Rome, New York is where we will be doing our 24-hour live stream with the Phoenix Overdrive group, where there's gonna be many streamers and influencers there doing their own shows. So I'm sure we're gonna be doing a big mix and match of personnel on different cameras. We're gonna have people on our stream that normally that we normally don't work with. Well, I'm sure we'll be floating around in other people's streams depending on what game's going on. If anyone else is playing a Picross, I'll probably be hanging around.
I love it.
All for Extra Life.
Yeah.
And not just for Extra Life too, Marty. What else are we there for?
We are recording episode 400 of the Nintendo Dads podcast live. And when we say live, understand we don't know what the internet situation is in the Airbnb that we're going to be in when we record episode 400. But I can tell you this, all four dads will be live in the same room, in the same space as we record episode 400. And there will be surprises. There will be laughs.
Yep.
There may even be a fist fight or two. I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
Just as long as there's nothing that'll get us banned from Mixer.
That's true. That's true. There will be no nipples.
No. Yes.
Unless Justin takes his shirt off.
And we can't control.
Back to a long time ago.
Can't control Justin. We've already.
That's
talked
right.
About that.
But I will tell you this. Can I go ahead and give you guys a preview of something that's going to be at episode 400? There is going to be a tasting of Bucky's Beaver Nuggets.
Awesome.
At episode 400. You're going to get them all. You're going to get the original Beaver Nuggets. You're going to get bold and spicy Beaver Nuggets. You're going to get white cheddar Beaver Nuggets, salted caramel Beaver Nuggets.
All of them.
Cinnamon sugar Beaver Nuggets. You're getting all the Beaver Nuggets. It's going to be fantastic.
One heck of a party.
We don't know what's going to happen. Look, when you put us in a room full of bags of Beaver Nuggets, sky's the limit.
Now,
All that podcast says, "Oh my gosh, Beaver Nuggets are incredible." Mecha says, "What the heck is a Beaver Nugget?"
He's saying what the heck on everything we're talking about.
Let me show you. Look. I'm going to show you because I have some. These are Beaver Nuggets. They are brown sugar, cornmeal, corn syrup. This like a puff that's coated in like caramel and goodness. And you see this guy right here. I mean, how could he steer you wrong? I mean, look at him. Look at him. And so they make all kinds of different flavors of these. These are coming. Not this bag, because I'm going to eat this bag. All right. But I'm going to Texas.
A nice new fresh bag.
I've already told my wife we're going to Texas at the end of this month just to get away, see her sister for a little bit. And we are going to stop at Bucky's. And there's going to be a massive Beaver Nugget purchase that goes on. And I'll tell you what, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do this out of the goodness of my heart because our patrons and friends of the show and family of podcasts are the best. Here's what I'm going to do. If you guys have been watching the show the last couple of weeks, you've seen the giant Bucky's cup I've been drinking out of, right? The red one with the beaver on it.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Somebody, one lucky patron of the show is going to win their very own Bucky's cup.
Dang.
Signed by the Nintendo Dads.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Can I win it?
No.
Darn it.
No, you can't. But if you'll bring a cup with you, I will sign it.
Okay. I'm gonna have you guys sign my hat. I'm gonna have you guys sign my hat.
I'm gonna
do that.
I'll sign it. I'll even do you one better, Tim. I'll sign it with whatever name you want me to sign it with.
Okay.
All right. Like if you want me to sign it as Dumbledore, I'll do it.
I want Marty Estes to sign my hat.
Okay. Well, then I'll do that. I'll do that just for you.
All right.
But somebody's going to win a Bucky's Cup, and you guys don't even have to compete. You're just going to get to enjoy Beaver Nuggets.
Sweet.
There you go.
So while you were talking about Beaver Nuggets, I'm trying to go to our website because I want to update our new merchandise that coincides with the announcement today.
Out now?
The link is available on our Redbubble, but I want to put it on our website as well.
Can you share your screen and show that merchandise for the viewers at home, for the ones who are tuning in?
If Jesse will allow that, sure, because Jesse's the controller of world here.
I think I granted access this time.
Okay. Let me see.
Friendo is asking if Robo Jesse will sign it.
Yes, he will. He can do that.
All right, share screen.
He
Let me
has
see what I
he
can
has
do.
the technology.
Let's do this because then you'll see everybody.
So I'm going to describe this while you're sharing that. So Tim's going to share his screen here, and right now you can see we have a brand new logo that is now available in sticker form, mask form, hat form, shirt form, and basically what this does is it's commemorating the 400th episode of Nintendo Dads.
Stickers.
Can you make that a little bit bigger? Like, could you click on one?
Which one do you want to see bigger?
Oh, it says 4 Dads live and in person, 400 episodes, for Extra Life.
Yep.
And it's got our 4 portraits on there. It's got the golden Zach with the mic jumping behind the Nintendo Dads logo. Folks, if you want one of these, I would advise you get them while they are hot, because you never know. Them down. You will never know what happens with our merch.
Right.
There's wall prints. There's glossy stickers. There's scoop tees. Can I ask this? Is there a duvet cover?
I did not.
Is there bedding?
I did not put the bedding on.
Hold on. What is that up there? There's a cotton tote bag. There's a clock.
Yeah, we got coasters. We got
bags,
coasters.
pins.
Dude, I might just get the clock.
Coffee mugs.
Ooh,
I may order a clock for myself.
See that the clock's
coasters.
Pretty cool. Acrylic block. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah. So guys, if
Water
you
bottles,
want these, if you want anything with this limited, Tim, is this a limited time logo?
It's limited based. We could have it going for a while. Limited by the time either we get taken down, hopefully not, because obviously the word Nintendo is there, but it's not in the title. So we're hoping it'll be able to stay up longer than other things have.
Yep.
But the 300 shirt, I don't think is available anymore.
No, it is
what
not.
I'm wearing right now. So
unfortunately, it is not available. I have the magnet on my fridge.
Yeah,
and it is not available. But guys, this is going to be a huge milestone for us.
I'll say hopefully until at least the end of the year, or at least
So sometime within the next 15 minutes, these designs will be available over at nintendodads.org, and you can go and check that out. So just to recap here, Nintendo Dads Take New York. We are going to do a meet and greet at the Nintendo store on Friday. I believe that's November the 4th at from 10 to 12 Eastern time. And we have to be out at 12 because of a train that we have to catch to Rome. Then you'll be able to see us from 10 a.m. Eastern until 10 a.m. Eastern, November 5th through the 6th on our channel. One of the things I want you guys to remember is going into Extra Life season. All 4 of us are going to be playing for our own Children's Miracle Network hospitals of choice.
And anybody who's on our team is playing on their own hospitals too.
Yeah. So the thing is that do we want you to support Phoenix Overdrive? Absolutely. But we also want to get you guys to remember that you'll also be supporting us during that time, or we want you to continue to support us. And since it's all of us in one place for 124 hours period, we will not be as like in the last few years, I've been on screen for 24 hours for mine. Tim has done some time for his. Jesse's done some time. Justin's done some time, but it's always been apart. This will be 1 24-hour block to push all the Nintendo Dads and their team over the goal, right? So, Tim, are we, speaking of our team, are we did we get enough people?
We did meet the goal of 7. Yes, we did meet that goal. So everybody, we should be getting as a team $100 plus each individual who's joined before the 25th should be getting $10. So that doesn't mean we still don't want you. We still want as many people who want to join, and you don't have to be there in New York with us. You can be in your own comfort of your own home to stream
or
your Extra Life or office. Yes, to join our team and to raise funds for your children's hospital in your area, or the one you want to join in on. You can pick one. If you don't have one, you can pick one of ours or somebody else's. So you pick whichever one you want. You can raise it for your own children's hospital that you want to do, but it's overall team amount that we'll be able to brag about. And the goal is 5,000 this year, of course.
Yeah. And also, guys, my son has broken away from me and is doing his own Extra Life, but he's actually going to be doing that the weekend after we play, so that I can be here to help him, get his stream set up and make sure that everything goes right.
Nice.
So that is going to be the 11th and 12th. He's also playing for Le Bonheur, which is the same hospital I play for. And again, he contributes to the goal. So if you've signed up, if you're part of the 7, or you've signed up, or you sign up, it will raise our goal by however much you decide. And so we want you guys to join. Right now, 9 participants have helped raise $233 toward our $5,000 goal. So we're starting strong, right? Yes. I'm excited about this. And so, guys, y'all go and check it out. Tim, what's the best way for them to find our Extra Life stuff?
Best way is to go to nintendodads.org and go to our site. And right there's a banner. Well, right below our exciting announcement, of course, but right below the exciting announcement, we'll have a link to our team page. And then when you get to the team page, you can hit join or donate. So you have a chance to do either one of those things. Also, if you don't want to go to our site, fine, be that way. Go to Extra Life. Go to their website and look for Nintendo Dads, all one word.
Extra-life.org?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. You can go there and look for Nintendo Dads and all one word, and you'll find our team page that way as well.
And who did our website? This is sweet. Who did that?
It was, I don't know. It just magically appeared.
So cool.
So
cool. It looks really good. I'm serious. There are other designs up if you go to all our stuff on our Redbubble store, so you can go and check some of those out. Yep. Including Dads After Dark has some of their stuff up there.
Yep, one of their shirts was there because we were working on that.
Some old school Nintendo Dads stuff.
All of our original 8 years ago avatars are still out there. Yep. I think.
And then the NINDADS Shroom and Business Justin with his business hat. So you go check that out.
All right. I'll mess with the site more later, but so we can get rolling with this episode some more. Yep. But I did put a link.
Let you guys know too, Tim. I'll just throw this in there before you go. The new merch is live as of right now.
Yes.
So it's already there.
You should be able to go to nintendodads.org/merch and get directly to our Redbubble page too, as well. So where that new logo is there. So, but there's also under the store heading, you can go there and go to the link there. I don't have an image there yet, but it says episode 400 special, and you should be able to link that and go to the page if everything's working all right. But for sure, you can get to it to nintendodads.org/merch.
Yep.
So, all right. With that, we got lots more to talk about. Mm-hmm. Marty, I know you got important things to do in the morning, like get your new iPhone. And Justin will eventually arrive. And I'm sure if timing is right, maybe he'll be able to come out and tell us his highlights. But there was a lot going on this week. We, like Marty said, he was excited about and I mentioned at the beginning of the show that we had basically video game Christmas this week. We had a lot of stuff going on. PlayStation State of Play.
Not E3 Part 2.
Right. ID Xbox Fall Showcase happened. Ubisoft's event happened, and we'll be talking a little bit about that as well. They're Ubisoft Forward. But right now, let's take a little bit of a focus on Nintendo Direct that happened on September 13th. And let's dive right into that. Jesse, we had a lot going on here, and usually you don't have very much that sticks out for you in a lot of these things. What were some of your highlights during this event for this Direct?
I actually had more than 2 things I liked in this one. Of course, being a 40-minute episode, that doubles the chances, right? So the things that I'm looking forward to is Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line. I remember playing the hell out of the first one. I think I bought the second one on 3DS, but didn't play much just because I was already burned out. But it's been a while, so I'm up to you giving that one a try again.
Nice.
Scrolling through to see what else is out there. I'm thinking about the Atelier Ryza 3. I haven't played the first two, but I've been thinking about trying an Atelier game for a while.
The first two are out on Switch, correct?
Yeah. Oh, I think there's like 30 Atelier games on the Switch. It's practically an annualized series at this point. See, Pikmin 4. That was like almost up there in height for me, almost as not quite as much, but up there with the sequel to the Breath of the Wild, which now has a title and a date.
Nice.
Title being The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Some people think it may be Tears of the Kingdom. They never actually said it out loud, so we don't 100% know.
They really should have.
We'll find. I'm sure there'll be a direct in February talking about this, because the
I
game
thought it was
out.
Tears of the Metroid fans. I thought that's what it was.
So that was Game Explained.
I think the actual title was Tears of the Leakers.
Oh yes.
And that will come out on May 12th. So a little bit later.
3 days before my birthday.
Happy birthday! That's a great gift.
It sure is.
It would be an awesome gift to get.
That game will probably be my second voucher use from the Japanese eShop.
I love that you still have vouchers. I think that's the greatest thing.
Well, you can still get them in the other regions, just not here in North America.
Yeah, people hate us here.
Yeah, I got a surprisingly good deal on those vouchers.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I miss the vouchers. I wish they'd do it again.
I can thank the poor value of the yen. I think I got the 2 vouchers for like $90.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, that's your highlights. We'll get to the lowlights momentarily. Marty, what was your highlights?
Well, obviously the new look at Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. That game's going to be incredible. Already speculation is flying about what this could be. They obviously are very much emphasizing this. Link is going to dive off islands in the sky, right? And he's going to drop down to whatever's below. Sounds a lot like Skyward Sword. And I think we even got a question either in our Discord or on our Patreon posts. Where were the Loft Wings? Well, they're probably dead.
That was Chris HL who asked about that.
They're probably dead. They didn't show them because they all died.
They didn't show them yet because you didn't buy the amiibo yet that will unlock them.
Right. There's going to be a brand new set of champion Loft Wings.
Yes. That only appear if you've got the amiibo.
Yeah.
And if you use it, you'll get a set of horse armor.
I thought it would be at least bird armor. Come on.
Yeah, it's bird armor. It's bird. Come on, Jesse. The other highlight is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This was originally a Wii game. I think it was a late life Wii game. And so I'm pretty sure there may be a lot of people who haven't played this after Kirby and the Forbidden Land. I can't wait for this. But you guys realize that this means that since the Switch has released, that we've gotten 4 Kirby games or 5, not counting download only games like Kirby Fighters and things like that. So I like the art style of this. I always enjoyed the original game. So I think it's great. It does look like they're emphasizing couch co-op play, which with kids is always really good. I do think this is going to be positioned as a game to play with your kids.
Marty, let me ask you this. You mentioned about all these Kirby games that are coming, that are on the Switch, and then you got this one coming. And if you remember, the Nintendo Guru mentioned anytime we started getting lots of Kirby games, that meant the end of life for a system.
Yeah.
Do you think the Switch is at its end of its life?
I do. I don't know that it's completely right at end of life, but I think we're pulling into the station. Like we could see it ahead, right?
Well,
because
the first
after
Kirby NES came a year after Super Nintendo was already out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But my point that I was going to make is this, is that we now are getting the games that have been promised to us, right? And there's only one more real big nebulous game that's been promised to us floating out there, and it's Metroid Prime 4, right? I don't know. I'm really beginning to believe, I don't know that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a Switch game. I think, or like as we say Switch, I mean this generation Switch. I think
it could be the dual system one.
It could be a dual system game, like Breath of the Wild. It will be interesting to hear the stories one day of how much that delay cost them. How many years did that restart really cost them? I know it was probably exacerbated by COVID, but what did that mean? Like, how bad was it? I don't know that we'll ever know, but I sure would love to know that story.
10 years after it releases, we'll find out. So
so those are my first two highlights. I think my other highlight.
The original Kirby Return to Dreamland was released October 24th, 2011. So almost 11 years ago.
Almost 11 years ago, and the Wii U would have been a year away.
Yeah, almost to the date. It would have been like 49 weeks. So
yeah. My last highlight or high point was probably seeing a lot of the indie games that we saw. If you can call Tunic an indie game, I am so happy that is coming to Switch.
Right.
Justin is probably doing his business dance.
He's right, and I'm glad he's not here to hear that, but he is.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, did you guys see what I posted in our chat about that?
Well, I mean, yeah, the prediction was made on a Nintendo Dads podcast, so really that means what?
We were all talking about it coming out for the Switch.
Sure.
Eventually, but we were.
He was the one that was most vocal.
He said it was out November, December, and I said it was going to come out in July. And then, Marty, you said it was going to be announced in July.
I thought it was going to be like a E3 type announcement,
right?
Or
so
whatever.
we bookended it, so it came out between the two guesses.
Yeah. So between Tunic and there's another one that stuck out to me. It was Oddballers. That looks really fun.
Oh yeah, that's
I think that looks really good. But those are my three highlights for this direct.
And speaking of Justin, we're talking about our highlights of what were our highlights, each of our highlights.
Three highlights, gentlemen. Bang. I got them for you. Number one, Tunic coming at the end of September. Hot and heavy. I'm into it. I want some more of it. Justin's prediction right here. Absolutely knew it was coming. Number two, Take-Two coming to the Nintendo Switch. Why? Because I called it coming in 2022. And by the way, Marty Estes laughed at me and said it won't happen. Check the prediction report. I'm right. And number three, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Forbidden. What was it?
Kingdom.
I was like, no, that's not right. Are my top three. I've got some other honorable mentions, but those are my top threes. I thought it was a good direct. I'm sure we've already given it a score. I suspect.
No, we're just talking about our highlights right now. So you came in just in time.
Highlights, and then you get to share your lowlights later.
Yeah, we'll get to the low stuff in a minute.
I do have honorable mentions if we need them, though.
Okay. Basically, I don't think I have anything else. Rain Code was one that stuck out to me. The Master Detective Archives Rain Code. That game stuck out to me. That's a little bit different from what you guys were saying. Because I agree with you guys. Tunic and It Takes Two. I have to say this. You guys do not know how excited Sammy was when he found out about It Takes Two. By the way, he says hi, everybody.
Hi, Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
He was so excited about It Takes Two coming to the Switch that he came down he was all excited and told me about it because he watched it up in his room while I was working. He came down and was talking about it after he came home from school that day. So we're most likely going to get here in our household, regardless of what some people are saying. You know, like if you play it, if you're, as we always say, if you want it for graphics, go play it on the other systems.
Yeah.
We're playing it because it's a fun game and we want to play it in our handhelds, you know, in the Switches, because it's the way you can play it there. So we're looking forward to that. Hey,
sorry. Speaking of Take-Two, one of the things that struck me about it, I'm in the eShop.
Do you mean It Takes Two?
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
What did I say?
Take-Two.
Okay. It Takes Two. And in the eShop, there are 2 versions of it
that look exactly the same.
And one of them is a bundle. And that bundle includes Nintendo Switch Online. From what I'm reading.
Yep. So there's 2 versions of it because one is for when you buy it and the other one's supposed to be for the other player who didn't buy it.
Oh.
Also too, if you both pick up the, I'm assuming, free copy, you both can play the first chapter together for free. And then somebody has to buy it to play the rest. But nobody has to buy it to play at least the first chapter. So at least it's a demo, and it's a demo of you 2 people playing it together. So, but somebody, if you're going to play it on 2 different Switches, then you got to have, somebody's got to download the other one. So if they didn't buy the copy.
Okay. I was a little bit confused when I saw that. I was like, that doesn't quite make sense.
So EA actually put out a diagram or a picture of what all that was and what you have to do in order to play it and how you play it together if you're going to use 2 Switches. And when we talked about it, It Takes Two, we talked about that possibility. If it does come to the Switch, that it would be cool if you could use 2 Switches while playing it rather than split screen. So that is awesome. Tunic, of course, I'm excited about. Again, if you wanted better graphics, go where you need to go for that. But I don't know if that's a game. I think I was going to say Tunic, I think, is probably going to be just fine on the Switch.
Yeah, I don't think that's a game that's going to be real heavy in regards to it's not. I don't think it pulls a lot graphically. It has a nice graphic style. It's much like Wind Waker, right? Wind Waker,
yes,
has an art style that allows for it to not be a heavy draw on the system, and I think Tunic is very similar to that. We're not looking for pixel perfect graphics. We're not looking for high emoting. The settings are pretty diorama-esque, right? As is the character. The models are pretty simplified. I don't like. That's why everyone's like, it'll go to the Switch. Now, if you want to talk about something that looks like it's going to have a hard time on the Switch, ladies and gentlemen, have we talked about Sifu yet?
That is on my list too, that I'm hoping to play. And I was told that I probably best be played on the PlayStation or Xbox. I would agree with this. PlayStation.
And here's the deal. Is this one of those games that is like, you've got and y'all know from my time here, that I'm not a big graphics, the frames and it's got to be 60 frames per second and all that stuff. But the whole nature of Sifu is Twitch-based combat, right? It looked like it stuttered a lot. In fact, I'm going to say this. I think that was probably the worst part of the Direct. That and Pikmin Bloom were the worst parts of the Direct, because here's the deal. I don't know who asked for Sifu on the Switch, but it kind of made me embarrassed for Nintendo.
So are these your low points, Marty?
No, I have those. I wasn't even going to talk about Sifu. Pikmin Bloom's one. We'll come back to that.
Sorry. Thank you, Justin.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Tim.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
I just thought, it'd be a good place to say it. I kind of cringed when I saw it. I was like,
no. Sifu is on my list. I did put it on my wish list. I had 5 games from this Direct I put on my wish list, and Sifu was one of them.
Can I say about it too? You're probably, since you have a PlayStation 5, maybe do you get or if you have a PlayStation 5, it's probably going to be cheaper on PlayStation 5
if it doesn't end up on Plus. Yeah, for sure.
I really hope that Sifu comes to Stadia. Stadia.
You
right.
Stadia Nazi.
Well, speaking of our low highlights, the low lights, I guess. Anyways,
Tim, did you share your highlights?
I did briefly.
Sorry.
Marty, go ahead with those low lights.
Oh, okay. So, guys, Hakken Pikmin Bloom is not how you present Miyamoto. It's not.
No, yeah, he just tanks the pace with that.
I saw so many people in the games industry talking about how odd that was, how it was like the literal air going out of the balloon in the middle of the direct.
See, I saw reactions to both Arlo and Roger, who are the two most positive people I know. They were going, what the hell is this?
Yes. Especially guys, when a Mario movie is in development and we have yet to see even a character still.
He at least confirmed. Movie. He at least said is still aiming for a spring release. People were suspecting it might be delayed again due to something on a Spain website, maybe. I don't know, different.
Yeah, there was one that listed it for later on, a
holiday 23.
So my thing is this: is that I don't think that got anyone else to play Pikmin Bloom at all. No. I think all of the people who are playing Pikmin Bloom are playing it.
And have stopped.
I need to interrupt for a second because this is too good of a comment. Did I miss it? Maybe you guys mentioned it too, and I was trying to keep tabs of things. But Butternogs 23 said, "My son asked why the Canadian doesn't have a beard."
I did add that to the notes at the bottom.
Hang on. Okay. You are just the Canadian now. I love it. You're just the Canadian.
I couldn't pass.
What do you think, Canadian?
So despite my you can see a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, right? A little bit of a dirty stash.
Maybe a noon 30.
I can't grow a beard.
Can we do this?
So now I've been beard shamed. But I can grow a dirty mustache like nobody's business.
Can we do this? Can we make a pact right here and right now that from now until the time that we go to New York, we're just going to let our facial hair grow?
I hate you. No. I have some meetings that I have to be decently.
Yeah, I don't even think I want to do that. I kind of like this look.
I wanted to see old man Tim.
Well, you've seen me that way.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I to be honest, I would like to grow a beard. I would. I've grown like about 3 weeks, and it starts to fill in a little bit, and it's just too much. It's just
what about goatee? Can you do itchy?
Goatee? I've done the soul patch for a while when that was trendy, the flavor saver. I did the mustache for Movember. I've had mutton chops down to there before, but I've never done like the full deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It must be a Western Canadian thing. That's all.
It must be.
Western.
It must be.
Wow.
Let me talk about two more low points.
Go ahead, Craig.
The other one for me is Fire Emblem Engage. Who cares? I'm sorry. It looks like a mobile.
I know a lot of people are looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Like Justin. Justin's looking forward to it. Right?
Yeah, he's lining up day one.
Day one for that.
This looks like they are trying to.
My back.
There you go.
Look, it looks like they're trying to force mechanics from Fire Emblem Heroes onto console games so that will hopefully funnel people back to Fire Emblem Heroes. And we know that that's what they're doing because Fire Emblem Heroes is making money for Nintendo.
I thought that did that before already. The ability to call on another player before. Call on another.
Like Awakening might have done that on a limited basis, but this looks like it.
Here's the thing: either it's a really, really good Fire Emblem game, or it's a hackneyed attempt at making mobile and console meet. And the preview of it did not do enough to show what it actually was. And the name of it is awful.
I think Fire Emblem Engage did a video that kind of like joked on the Direct in general. And when they talked about this game, they said, everyone wants to play Crom, no one wants to play Joy-Con Boy.
Like the whole thing is like, the last few Fire Emblem games have actually had like a subtitle, like, 3 heroes or whatever, it like, I don't know. It just, I don't know. It struck me the wrong way. And then my last one is this, and I'm done.
That's actually the name of the game. It should have been was 3 Heroes, because I don't think neither game was 3 Heroes. It was 3 Houses and 3 Hopes.
3 Houses. There we go. That's what it
3
was.
Heroes would have been awesome.
3 Houses, 3 Hopes, 3 Heroes, whatever. The other one is this. I want to know who thought at Nintendo that it was a good idea to announce the Mario Kart Pack 3 and only show 2 tracks. Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. Every other announcement, they've shown them all.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was bizarre. It's like, hey, here's the Mario Kart, Pack 3 is coming, and you're going to get this track, and you're going to get this track, and then we'll see you next time.
All right. I'm glad you were able to get those 3 things off your chest there, Marty. You good now? You good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
You better.
Can I say this just because I'm like Justin. I thought this was a passable Nintendo Direct. I may have drank whatever. I may have drank some of the Kool-Aid, some of the hype Kool-Aid too much and hoped for some things that weren't there.
Okay.
But overall, looking back on it, it's pretty solid. But what is odd to me is that it was not very first-party heavy.
I would say if any one publisher was heavy, it would be Square Enix.
Yep. And I don't know. I don't have any commentary on that. I just want to say it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that as well. I think this Direct, Nintendo had an opportunity to really tell a story, to plot forward what their next 6 months is, and I think they did a decent job of it. But I do think that to your point, Marty, what is absent, right, was the first party story. And if you're calling out specific first party content that is there, it would be Breath of the Wild, it would be Pikmin 4, and it would be the Mario Kart tracks,
Kirby,
right?
That feels a little bit light for the amount of teams.
Scrolling back through, there's Splatoon. I saw a Splatfest announcement, the golf announcement for
Switch Sports,
Switch
Strikers update.
Strikers. So it was more, but the thing is, there's more updates for games that we already know about. It wasn't like, hey, look at all this first party stuff coming your way.
Yeah. And again, I do think, Nintendo, we didn't get it. So here's the thing, right? We don't have a date for Pikmin 4. We know Advanced Wars is out there. We just don't know when it's going to land. Here's the other thing. I don't really know what their holiday game is. Right. That wasn't very clear to me what their now, maybe they don't have a holiday game, which is kind of odd. And they're just saying Pikmin or Pokemon is the holiday game, which Pokemon will do well on its own. But to not have some holiday game there, a couple of years ago, we had Age of Calamity. Like it just feels a bit odd. And we may get something in a couple of weeks from now where, oh, by the way, boom, here you go. Here's a weird game that we're dropping. True. But it did feel like first party. We didn't get that story the same way I was a little bit anticipating. Now, again, yes, there was a bunch of hype of, hey, here's the Wind Waker, here's Twilight Princess, here's Metroid, here's Donkey Kong. We definitely let ourselves go a bit wild. And that's a bit of the fun of these kind of things, is just like, let's shoot for the moon. You never know what's going to happen. I'm not disappointed by what there is. For me as a player, in the next 3, 4, 5 months, there are a ton of games that I'm going to be playing. This Direct did a great job. Some of them are not first part. What I guess I'd be saying is that majority of them are not first party Nintendo games, and that's okay, right? There's no problem. There's not a lack of games out there for me to play, but I am interested in the story, right? Where does Pikmin 4 actually land? Like, to me, that feels like it could be a March game, right? And that feels like end of March, kind of where they put Kirby this year, sitting right in that pocket where they put Animal Crossing a couple of years ago. That you've put a flag now in Breath of the Wild, which is going to be the next fiscal or financial reporting year, right? So there's a lot, there's a little bit of kind of, they're plotting their path a little bit. So I would love to have known a little bit more about what they were doing, but it is what it is, right? I wasn't overly disappointed by it.
Well, were there any other low points to this?
I would say this, gentlemen, FOMO, fear of missing out, right? I don't know about you, but after I watch this direct, I have a fear of missing out on Japanese RPGs and farming, because that's all that I got. Every game was a JRPG with farming. I'm like, am I missing out? Is there something here? Like, is it the new battle royale hotness that I am completely missing on? Is JRPG farming? I really wish somebody had looked at this and said, we need to balance this a little bit better. But that became really, really, really dominant.
You think it's because of the large amount of people who bought Animal Crossing that everybody's trying to figure out what's the next thing for them to tap into?
I think there's a couple things when you look at the cycle, right? We would have seen Animal Crossing would have been announced in 2019, delayed and released in 2020. 3-year cycle, 4-year development cycle. That's kind of pretty in tune, but you didn't really know for sure. I think the interesting
probably
part
more Stardew Valley than Animal Crossing.
Stardew Valley. I think
that had longer legs to build a game.
Yeah, I think that the JRPG component of it, I think, is actually where the crutch of that more is than anything else. We do have to remember the Tokyo Game Show is going this week, right? Yes. So putting this up front, very hard Japanese JRPG content with a Tokyo Game Show days, like literally 24 hours later, that all really makes sense, right? We saw Xbox today lean very heavily into that market as well in regards to their promotion. So it felt very JRPG. It needs to have felt very JRPG, especially where they are in regards to Tokyo Game Show. So I'm not overly shocked about it, but seriously, I don't want to farm for everything. I'm done with farming. I don't want to be a farmer. I made a decision in my life not to be a farmer. Stop making me try to be a farmer. I would agree with Marty. I think the dip when Miyamoto came on, God love the fella, but seriously, knock it off. All right. That was not necessary. I don't think it was needed at all. But overall, I think it was a pretty good direct. I was happy enough with it. I don't think they lingered on anything too long. I thought that they were tight, and I think ending with the Breath of the Wild trailer was a banger. And I think, interestingly enough, before they even knew, the fact that State of Play came in later that day, everyone was basically talking about Breath of the Wild after State of Play, where God of War got a really great trailer. Right. People are talking about Breath of the Wild. So I think that was, and now that may just be our sphere because it's Nintendo related, but the headlines were kind of Breath of the Wild trailer. Here's a date. It ate up some of that social space, which I think was important. Mm-hmm. I thought overall it was good, but I would have loved to see a little bit more.
Awesome. Jesse, what about you? Your lows.
Okay. So you're going to think this is funny, but I'm going to say I had Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line as a high. I'm also calling it a low, due to how they're monetizing it.
Okay.
The base game of 350 songs or so is $50. That sounds reasonable. But then they have 2 layers of DLC. The first one includes season's pass, not all of them, just one, and 27 bonus songs for a total of $442. That's the total of $80. Or that's the Digital Deluxe Edition, or the Premium Deluxe Edition, which includes all of the above, plus all of the season's passes for 502 songs in total for $100.
You gotta really love those songs, those Square Enix songs.
Yeah, I'm probably still going to do the 100, but damn.
500 songs for a rhythm game is a lot.
It is. Because a lot of those songs are, especially if they're doing the early Final Fantasy games, they're only a minute or two, so they go quick. The later the song, the longer you can get. Like One Wing Angel, Man with a Gun Arm. I forgot what that one's called.
Barrett's
song, but yeah. Those are long songs.
I like the title "Man with a Gun Arm." I love that song.
That sounds like a James Bond villain or James Bond movie
title.
Man with the golden gun arm thing.
and of course, Kefka's theme. I can't think of what that one's called.
I'm sorry, Justin's song has broken me.
Dancing Mad.
All right,
we're not going through the set list, Jesse.
I actually saved that in Twitch as a moment. for that song, by the way.
Oh,
I love it.
great.
Justin.
Thank you. Thank
So
you. You're welcome.
All
I'll
right.
have
So,
to go
and,
adjust it later. I'm sure.
and the other thing I wanted to talk about as a low is, yeah, Pokemon Stadium and both of them coming to N64 is a good thing. But, in little tiny print that I missed, it says Pokemon cannot be transferred in. Either, so, yeah, you're stuck with the rentals or the mini games. And playing with only the rentals is not fun. Part of the game is to get them transferred in. That doesn't say that they can't patch it in later if they then add in Game Boy support and then the Gen 1 and the Gen 2 games and then let the two apps talk to their save data. That could definitely be possible.
It was very odd, wasn't it?
But it's going to be unlikely.
Usually Nintendo has used the September Direct. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Justin. Nintendo has used the September Direct as a way to show why we need to keep our Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions.
So
this time it was just Nintendo 64 games. That's it.
I would say this, Marty. Originally, that was kind of the cycle because that was when they came online the first time. Now, what they have done is they have changed that yearly cycle to being the beginning of November when they came in with Animal Crossing last year and did that expansion. So I wouldn't be shocked if near the end of October, we get a little bit more of a drip or a little bit more of a, hey, surprise, this is now coming.
Hey, Game Boy games.
To get you right before the renew cycle comes up. So I if there's going to be an announcement, I think you're going to see, it could be very easily a tweet, right? A video montage. And that's like near the mid to end of October to basically say, hey, here's a great reason for why you should stay.
It's only September. We still got some time for them to do their news feeds on Twitter and various ways.
For sure. Yeah, I don't necessarily think I don't think Nintendo's gonna be quiet for the next 2 or 3 months.
No,
there is more up their sleeve that they will share. But overall it was all right.
What else did you have, Jesse?
It cut me off. It was surprising to me that they announced 3 games releasing on the same day, February 24th. We got Octopath Traveler 2. We have Kirby, and where'd my list go? And we have Atelier Ryza 3. Those are all coming out the same day. So I'm like, that's weird that you'd announce 3 games.
I wonder what other games from other systems are coming out that day too.
I don't know. And then one more thing I wanted to throw out there, not necessarily a low, but they announced GoldenEye that'll have online play, and then Xbox announced they're going to have GoldenEye. If you have Game Pass, you'll get it for free with Game Pass. If you've purchased Where Replay, you'll get it as an add-on to that. And it's basically an upscaled version of the original game. I think it'll be like they have an N64 emulator that's upscaling it, but it's still basically running the original game. The Switch will have online play support. The Xbox will not. And people are going, why? I don't understand. There's an easy solution. The Switch emulator has the online support. The games don't need it. So Xbox
would have had to put
build
extra work into the Xbox version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been able to multiplayer NES, SNES, and Genesis games since they've been launched. You hook it up, you connect before you launch your game. Yeah. This is the same thing.
And here's the thing.
Not a big shocker here.
I mean, not to rain on people's parade about GoldenEye Online, but have you played an online game on the Switch, on the NES or N64 online app?
Yeah.
Don't rain on my parade, Marty. Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying this out.
More disconnects than Splatoon 3. And that's
I haven't had a problem with it. When we were doing the ice hockey competitions, I didn't have any disconnect problems.
I would love to see I would love to see the story, the behind the scenes. Someone's got to write a Kotaku article or whatever it is about how that deal got made. Because
did you see the original announcement first came out from the
Xbox?
owners? No.
Oh, from Rare.
from the owners of James Bond 007.
Really? I didn't see that.
That's where I saw it first, at least, was from them. They announced, I saw the announcement there first, and then the others in regards to Xbox's version. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I'd love to know the story behind that, because there was a back door, behind closed door agreement, buckets of dump trucks of money got moved, or somebody got a spot somewhere, and because that had to have been a lot of work there.
We'll see that in the book another 10 years from now.
Yeah, from a licensing agreement. Other thing I'm going to give a shout out to: 4 new cloud games coming to the Nintendo Switch.
What did I tell y'all? What did I tell you?
Yep.
I don't know what you say, but I was going to brag.
I'm just saying that for once I was right. I said Justin's going to come in and talk about cloud games.
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting that these are the 4 games that they brought over. Again, showing that they have not thrown away their strategy, and that they're going to continue to try and use that. But again, these are games that if you had another console, you were most likely going to have played them somewhere else.
And who lost their mind when they saw that?
Who's
Sam.
that? Really?
Sam. I heard him through the floor upstairs in his room. He was shouting, "Yes, yes, it's coming, yes," because it's coming to the Switch.
Yeah,
because he loves that game. He played it on the Xbox. So he's happy that's going to be on the Switch.
Can we sit in this pocket for a moment and take a question about this? Because we have a question from our community that came to me directly. And I thought, man, this is a great question I want to announce. So Nick, our good old friend Nick from Game Pass News. How does Nintendo make their faithful following okay with cloud games? So much on Discord and Twitter of boycotting Resident Evil Village because it's cloud. I mean, we over here in Xbox land celebrate all the cloud games that keep coming, even though we could be playing them on a console or PC. So why is it, let me ask you, why did Nintendo fans' approach to cloud seem very different and opposite to what we would see from Xbox?
The audience mainly likes physical games.
Well, the networking hardware in the consoles have generally been less than great.
Yeah.
The original docks didn't have Ethernet. You had to buy an adapter for it. And the Wi-Fi has always been flaky.
And I would say this too. The approach is different because all these other games run on Xbox and PlayStation without having to have the internet running in the background constantly to run them.
Well,
they're on disc. Like Control, you can play that off a disc. Resident Evil Village, you play it off a disc. 7, you can play off a disc.
Right, but what Nick's question is when you look over at the Xbox camp, cloud gaming is a massive thing for them.
Yeah. Well, they have the option where Switch, you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is cloud is like, hey, you can grab it anywhere, right? You can pick it up on your phone and go anywhere. You can put a backbone controller and go anywhere. Yes, you can download it on your desktop. Yes, you can download it on your your machine, but their method is kind of pick up and go anywhere, which is really, and so it has to be streaming from the cloud, right? I can pick up and play Tunic on my phone right now. It's a cloud-based game, but we ain't whining about that. So why are Nintendo fans upset about cloud on Nintendo?
I think it's the choice. Xbox, you can choose to play it physical or stream cloud on any device. On Switch, if you want to play it, you don't have a choice. You have to cloud it. You have no other options.
I also think that where the leader goes, the crowd goes as well. Nintendo has been very reticent toward this. And I think part of the reason is because embracing cloud gaming, hey, you can pick up and play it anywhere, right? Via the internet. That erodes the reason you need a Switch. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to is that here's the thing. If this is my Switch, right? If I could take a backbone controller and plug it in here and play Mario on my iPhone, then Nintendo no longer has a need this console generation to sell hardware.
So I guess my question there then is it a console tribalism regarding the fear of this is Nintendo, and if we go further, we begin to lose quintessentially what a Nintendo product is or what the
possibly
identity is.
But I also think that one of the reasons is that you mentioned Xbox, so I'm going to hit on that specifically. Microsoft has done an incredible job of positioning Game Pass as a must-have service. Even I want Game Pass. And I don't even play my Xbox like very much at all. Okay, but I pay yearly for Game Pass because it's an incredible deal. Like I go and download a bunch of games on my Xbox here at my office where I have good internet, and then I go home and all I have to do is like make it talk to the internet, and I can play.
Yeah,
that's huge. So they've positioned that as like a must-have service, but Justin, they've had to do that because they positioned Game Pass as a must-have service when the Xbox One was floundering. And so it was, we've got to have cloud and we've got to integrate that as part of the Xbox experience. And when you hear them talk about that, you can even admit this, E3 presentations and all kinds of other stuff, that when Xbox talks about Xbox, they mention cloud in the same veneration as they do. Hey, you can go to the store and you can buy this game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Day and date. Halo Infinite is going to be available in store and day and date on Game Pass. That's a huge thing. Nintendo, on the other hand, is this game's going to be in stores, and just in the last few years have we really embraced you being able to buy it online and get it day and date, right? So I think that, yes, there's a little bit of console tribalism that carries over because Nintendo's always kind of been the holdout. You see that in couch co-op as well.
Mm-hmm.
That Nintendo's like the last stalwart bulwark of couch co-op. Like we're always going to have the ability to play Smash, Mario Party, Mario Kart, all that. Like Kirby, the new Kirby. You can sit down on the couch and play that with friends. Other consoles are going away from that and have for a while. And that
Nintendo, go ahead.
No, well, that I was just going to say that, and Nintendo just really doesn't understand online. I mean, just as a matter of speaking, they don't understand.
I think they
online.
understand it. They just don't know how to approach it with their audience because they're always protecting their audience. So they don't know how to approach online when they're trying to protect their main audience.
Okay.
Yeah, if Nintendo were to go more into streaming, they would almost have to, in the next generation of Switch, put a 5G chip in there and to start dealing with data caps or data rates with carriers, and that's going to be a fun mess. Sir Piguthi, sorry if I mispronounced that, in the chat says the U.S. itself has one of the worst network infrastructures on the planet, whereas Japan has one of the best. Cloud gaming makes sense over there, not so much here and in other countries.
So then using that as a theory, so are we saying that the U.S. market in regards to Nintendo and cloud is against it, where potentially if we are part or someone who lives in Japan or China where the network is stronger, we may see a fan there who definitely embraces the idea behind it? Because
I think the numbers are larger there in Japan that will like it better than here.
Again, not just the fans, but the companies, because who are we talking about? Capcom.
Yeah.
And we're here in the US where we're more spread out and have difficulties with connections. Like Marty with his choices saying that he, whenever we talk cloud, is just like, okay, well, I can't play that game. So where others of us who do have better connections can have that choice. So we're more apt to do it. Like when I get a stable connection, like where I'm at now, I'm happy to try it and go for it, especially if it's a game that I'm not going to get anywhere else but the problem then goes back to what the Switch is for, portability. And when I'm playing it and portably away from my house, am I able to connect to play that game that I bought for cloud when I'm out? That means, do I have a stable connection with my phone? Because more than likely I'm using my phone as a mobile hub.
Also, to dovetail with your argument, what happens in a few years when Capcom goes, we don't need this server for Resident Evil Village anymore? for cloud.
Bye-bye.
I've paid $65 for this game, and now I can no longer play it.
I mean, I think that's the argument for anything, right? For online gaming, like Fortnite. I don't own Fortnite. I don't own that game. I own a key to get into that game
service,
that I pay for a service. And by the way, at any time, Epic could be like, "We done here, son."
And we also feel that with the digital stores as well, like to a certain extent.
There's so much that I think in some ways, Marty, I think your commentary of like Nintendo being the last great bastion of like physical media and physical devices and kind of the brick and mortar, if you would, of like, this is the thing, right? Now, here's the thing. I asked this question. Nick asked this question. I play the cloud person, the role here, because if we all were like, cloud sucks, this would be the shittiest conversation ever, right? Like, so I'm happy to timestamp that, Jesse. I'm happy to go back and have those conversations about it, because I do think that despite our dislike for cloud and this kind of stuff, and maybe how you feel about it, and collectors and physical media and internet connection, blah 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 blah, it's stuff like that that actually pushes our industry forward, pushes the video game moving forward, right? And I think what Xbox is doing is really interesting. I think Nintendo, and I know everyone's like, "Oh, it's cloud on Nintendo." There can absolutely be an audience. Again, if you think of, and I think they're right here, the commentary, the Western audience is the most vocal. You know, if you think of, again, in Japan, or their network is stronger, where I think some of those games may not be having the same level of proliferation. You may not have a PlayStation 5 or other consoles in a house because of footprints of sizes, accessibility to games that they have readily available now to them via cloud is a great thing for Capcom in this case, right? Now, I will also say, for those of you that are interested, as kind of the cloud guy here, I played Resident Evil Village. I played the demo for 15 minutes. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. I will tell you, of all of the cloud demos that I have played, and I've pretty much played almost all of them as they have came out, it was the best. I had no lag. I had no hiccup. And I was on a wireless connection streaming. So they may have been doing a little bit more work. Again, I know people don't like it. Cloud is still going to be part of Nintendo's strategy.
And I want it to be their strategy because it gives us that option. Just unfortunately, not everybody has that accessibility.
I think it's going to be a long time before it's able to be a viable option. I know people don't want to hear that, but the point of
Nintendo is going to be a long time,
or at least here in America, it's going to be it's going to be a while before it's a viable option. Because here's the thing, guys, like I also love the idea of my games being on demand wherever I go. The reality is if that is, and I've said this before, if that is the future of gaming, it cuts me out of my hobby until I'm able to be in a place with a stable connection. And that scares me. It bothers me that, when people like, well, that's what everything should be. Well, that's kind of a scary place because, again, the DRM is a whole nother kit and caboodle story. But like, your server can go down. The switch can get flipped, and then and here, thank goodness that where I live is like they're saying for sure you're going to have internet sometime within the next 3 to 5 years. But still,
I don't want to be a jerk when I say this, Marty, but you are probably a minority in regards to your connectivity issue. Now, I understand the US doesn't have great connectivity, not in everywhere, but probably you are, even as I think of our listeners, a minority in regards to like, you just don't have internet, right? Like that is a rural problem.
But that's where I think that's where Nintendo's stance is, even though we don't know for sure. I think that's where they stand because the majority of their audience isn't about cloud gaming.
Yeah.
Just like the majority of their gamers aren't mature gamers for mature rated games. So although we get them every now and then, same with cloud games, we'll get them every now and then to give it to those people who are maybe just Nintendo only gamers, like yourself, Justin. You, other than your Stadia. Stadia. So other than that, your main console is Nintendo. So And I think that's where, even like I say, even though we don't know that, Nintendo may be trying to focus and hold on to that for the majority of their audience.
Yeah. I think it also allows Nintendo to still be competitive in recent releases without having the hardware to support it.
Yes.
Right. But you are definitely like narrowing that lens, right? You're like, so you have to be a player who hasn't played this on other consoles, right? And you have high internet connection and you have stabilized. Yep. Like the Venn diagram gets exponentially
which is why
smaller.
we don't see Nintendo's games available on the cloud yet.
Yeah.
Now, if they're both available, like the others, like you can still buy it, but you can also, if you want to, buy it in the cloud, then that's going to be an interesting something that happens there.
Yeah. So, Sean Capri's in the chat. He makes a really great point here. The value proposition is interesting though. Paying full price to access a game on a game by game basis rather than cloud access to a selection of games via Game Pass, right? I think that's an interesting point as well. I can pay $80, right? And there's a great value proposition. I can pay $80 and play Resident Evil on cloud, right? Nintendo Cloud, which by the way, they have done an absolute garbage job trying to market any of that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, do I call it Nintendo Cloud? Do I call it Nintendo Switch Cloud? Do I just call it Nintendo with cloud games? Like, what is this? They need to actually just
cloud.
They kind of need to lean in a little bit.
Because Nintendo doesn't have the cloud. It's not them. They're not marketing their cloud.
Correct.
Like Game Pass is a marketable name because Xbox owns it.
Yeah.
Those games exist on their servers.
And
they exist on their cloud.
And I think
Nintendo has no cloud.
Yeah, and I think what Xbox does well is kind of like looks at it like Game Pass is the key to your library anywhere.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so if you want to play it here, you can. If you want to play it there, you can. If you want to play it in the cloud, you can. So I think your proposition that Sean calls out is 100% on. Right. If Nintendo said as part of their online service, for an extra $50, you get our suite of cloud games that we offer every single year. Okay, cool. Right. That'd be great, but that's not what they offer. So we've spent a lot of time on it as well.
I want to jump back. The song I was thinking of is The Man with the Machine Gun, and that's from Final Fantasy VIII.
The Man with the Machine Gun, James Bond.
All right. Before we move on, let me just highlight my low.
Oh, we're still on this. I'm sorry.
That's okay. My low point, that I'll be real quick about, or we'll see if this spawns any conversation, is coming back to what I said last week. The people who stated that certain things were going to be in this direct is my low point.
So
sorry, Tim.
The hype cycle? The insiders?
No, Justin, not what you were predicting. Okay. You were predicting. I'm saying those who were saying that, this will be at Nintendo's Direct. These games, the Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker is going to be a double pack.
Heavy direct.
It'll be a Zelda heavy direct. It's going to be, you'll get your Metroid game. And I said last time, stop taking the hype, because I've been suckered into it. Last times we've been told this was going to happen. This is not going to happen. We're not going to get the double pack. We're not going to get all of these games all at one time. And everybody who came back disappointed that they didn't get the direct they wanted. They didn't get the Zeldas they heard about. They didn't get the Metroid. They're now blaming Nintendo again. And again, we have to redirect our blames of Nintendo and redirect it to those people who, I think we've had one of them on our show.
Yep.
State.
Are you calling out Jeff Grubb? Are you calling out Jeff Grubb? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, because he should not be out there unless, he was like, yes, this is going to be on there. And maybe he does have an insider, but I think I'm tired of all those people who keep saying, I have an insider and they're saying this, that we're going to have this. Your insider is garbage. You're giving us wrong information.
This is the maddest I've ever seen Tim, and he's still nice. He's still nice. It's like, I'm your insider's garbage.
Well,
this sucks.
Guys.
Tim's like,
you please stop
your insider's
that,
garbage, okay? Yeah, he's like, your insider's garbage, okay? Is that okay? Is it okay for me to say? Tim, I will agree with you. I think that that people definitely got bit by the bug this time, right? Because it had been so
It
long.
was all like, oh, we didn't
and
have.
there was, I mean, there was
direct,
stuff I
so
was
now
going
we
in
need to-
thinking I was going to see.
Yeah. And we've all should
got nothing.
remember that all of, predicting these things, there's a lot of things we predicted. And we all know that all of those things aren't going to come true. If they all come true, then there's more to what we're predicting than, we're going to be we're going to have to start charging people for our predictions, because there's that would be so on point.
Can we
But it
talk
wasn't.
can we talk to you about the biggest news that was not in the direct? And that is,
Advance Wars.
Gentlemen, 2022 Game of the Year Power Wash Simulator is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
It is coming to Nintendo Switch, and I am telling you right now that this may well be on my list of top. No, I'm not telling. It may well. It is going to be somewhere on my list of top 10 games for 2022. You have to play it. You have to play it.
Sounds like I will be able to.
You just have to trust me.
All right.
Just trust me.
All right. Before we leave the Nintendo thing, I believe we have a voicemail
We do.
Yes.
that we need to hear for.
Hey guys, it's me, Christian. Okay, so this past Nintendo Direct, I feel like was very underwhelming. But the point that I want to get to is, and I want to know if you guys feel the same way, or maybe I'm just crazy. But does it feel like to you that Nintendo is punishing leakers? It seems like every time we anticipate a Direct, leakers will come and present different ideas or programs that will be included in the Nintendo Direct. And then Nintendo Direct comes around and it's completely different from what we've been expecting. Now maybe that's because of me. I fell into the rumor mill and was deep in those rabbit holes of Zelda and maybe a little bit of Metroid, but definitely was so excited about this Nintendo Direct. But it wasn't just this one either. It's like almost every Direct that I've seen, rumor mills will come around, leakers will qualify and verify different things, and then it never happens. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe Nintendo is just saying, out of spite, oh, you know what, these leakers, they're going to ruin our show? Guess what? We'll ruin their life. And then they completely change the show up.
Exactly.
Maybe it's me, but I don't know. It just feels like Nintendo will Nintendo, and I feel like this is something that the Nintendo ninjas would do, is basically disqualify any leakers for future programming. Well, anyways, that's my rant for Nintendo Direct. Tell me what you guys think about it. Maybe I'm crazy. One more thing, too. I also feel really weird about how the Direct went and started promoting marrying, video game characters. I think there was 2 or 3 games that were on there that basically was promoting, oh, and you can get closer to your video game mate and get married and enjoy a life. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I feel like that's probably a little too much for me. But anyway, I love what you guys do. You guys are awesome. I hope you have a great day.
Sean Capri says, if Wind Waker Twilight Princess is announced on Twitter next week, then yes, they're doing it out of spite. This will prove your theory.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I mean,
I predict like a 50% chance. No, I'll go even 60% chance. Those are getting tweeted about if they exist.
and we're all going to say, why wasn't that in the Direct?
Everybody's going to say that.
Yes.
And Tim's going to say,
I told you. No,
I thought
don't
you
know
were just going to say it's because you wanted it too bad.
what-
Right?
It's because those leakers.
I think one of the things about, overall, the challenge is Nintendo hadn't communicated with us via a Direct since February. They missed E3, and we have been building that level of excitement, anticipation, hype to a level that was kind of unfathomable. and then you throw on the flames and the fires of like, oh, by the way, here's some leakers. So expectations. Now let's all face the fact that expectations going into any direct or any presentation are completely unrealistic, right? Like that's just the nature of people. Like, let's hope, let's dream, and let's see what happens. And so I think that the expectations were set really high. But I don't think it was a horrible direct, but I do think that this is a great example of you need to speak a little bit more and to help mitigate these things. You need I don't even tell Nintendo how to do their job, but if I ran Nintendo, I think I'd be doing a direct every 3 months, right?
Quarterly.
Frequent communication is not a bad idea.
No, and I think that I think we talked about this before, but we just we live in an age now where it's just whether, again, we're getting into a little bit of, I think this might get into a little bit of the conversation we had about entitlement, last couple episodes and negativity. But on the positive side of that, like we live in a freer information era, right? Where like it's kind of expected. Like almost all companies communicates with their fans. And, like guys, I know a lot of people compare Apple and Nintendo, but you can kind of expect Apple's going to have about 2 to 3 events a year, right? Like clockwork. They're all kind of going to be at the same time.
June, September, March.
Yep. And we know that Nintendo is pretty much always going to have a September direct. We always expected them also to communicate with us in June. And here's the thing. I don't think it can be called, maybe it can be called entitlement, but I don't think people can blame us for wanting that June communication pattern when they're the ones who established it in the first place.
Yes.
So I think the June direct was a huge miss for them, but I can kind of like seeing this direct, I can kind of understand why. I don't know that they had anything to talk about until now.
Well, they had Justin's headphones aren't working.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about this before too, is that I think also the pandemic has caught up to Nintendo, and that's why we're not seeing a lot of things from Nintendo.
Yeah.
So and they're using the third party to help that and their indie games and stuff like that. But we also all have to look at the history as well, that when Nintendo was on all cylinders producing lots of games, third parties were complaining to them that their games were overshadowing their game releases. So Nintendo was always asked to kind of like, hey, pull it back so that we can have time to shine, our games, our third party games. But, so who knows if Nintendo is using some sort of strategy for that.
True. And also think about this. What if this drought that you just described, quote unquote drought, had happened in the Wii U era and there were no third parties to fall back on?
That would have sucked.
That's called Nintendo 64 era.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we spent a lot of time in the Nintendo pocket, which we said we were going to not try it to. And we didn't even have to talk about every single game, but there was a lot of great topics there. So I will go over some of the other showcases that we had this week real quick, which was Disney and Marvel Game Showcase, because they had some Nintendo Switch games there. They had Disney Illusion Island, which is coming out in 2023. Good. Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, Galactic Edition, which I'm not 100% sure what that is all about, but that's
I don't know.
I can tell you what it is.
Okay.
It is the Skywalker Saga itself included everything that it needed to include for the full game, except for DLC character packs that you could get by getting the Deluxe Edition or pre-ordering the game, which is the only way you could get the original Obi-Wan. Okay. And when we say original, like the yellow Lego skin Obi-Wan.
Right. Yes.
You could still do that by pre-ordering this version, but it does give you every single character DLC pack that's come out since the game has launched, including Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, the Bad Batch. I want to say there was an Obi-Wan pack for the Obi-Wan show.
Oh, yes.
Okay. There was like a Stormtrooper pack, like different kinds of stormtroopers. There are like 4 or 5 different packs.
Okay.
So you can get all of those in this. So basically, it's just the game you already have. If you have Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, just DLC characters.
So if you have the game, don't double dip this. Just buy the DLC.
No,
but if you don't own the game yet, this is the one to get.
I was hoping it had like it had maybe episodes related to the TV shows or something, but it does not.
Okay. They also were talking about Return to Monkey Island, which is coming to the Switch on September 19th, which I know a lot of us are excited about. And then they also announced Gargoyles Remastered, which no consoles were mentioned, but I know a lot of people are fans of that one. So, and then also Ubisoft Forward had Brawlhalla mentioned. Simon Belmont and Alucard are to be added as playable characters to Brawlhalla, and that's going to be October 19th. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, October 20th, and the game will have 3 DLC games. The third one will include Rayman as a playable character, which I thought
it was the first one. So it's going to be the very last one.
I thought it was the third one. I could have been wrong, but
can I admit something shameful? I own the DLC Donkey Kong pack for the original, and I've never played it.
It's
shame on you. Shame on you. No.
It's just like, guys, I just beat Splatoon 2 this week.
You're a monster.
And I'm working my way through the Octo expansion DLC right now. And it's amazing.
That's better than I can
my
do.
son beat Splatoon 3 today, and I walk in the door and he's like, "Who did I beat Splatoon 3? And I can't wait to I can't talk to you about it."
That's cool. Speaking of Splatoon 3, opening weekend sales were 3.45 million units sold in the first 3 days in Japan. And that's the highest domestic sales of the first 3 days of any Switch game.
Mm-hmm.
Business Justin, what do you guys say about that?
Listen, we all know what I believe should have happened, right? My belief, free to play, yada, yada, yada. But what was my commentary before is this is going to sell buckets. And that is why they are going to do a Splatoon 3. I'm not shocked by this number. I'm not, I think they did a great job. The sales numbers are fantastic. There's such a thirst for this game and the appetite for it. Not a shock.
I'll throw this in there too, that the Japanese charts are also reporting that Nintendo sold an additional 182,000 Switches, almost 183,000 Switches just because of Splatoon.
Yeah.
So y'all, the OLED model was the highest one.
I'm trying to see how much it costs to buy the game in Japan, because in Japan games aren't always fixed prices like they are here. Like Xenoblade is it was like 8,500 yen, which is about $70.
Wow.
This game has such a, in a lot of ways, sort of like Animal Crossing, has this like cult following around it or subculture around it. The day the game was released, Nintendo of New York says, by the way, did you know we have a Splatoon 3 line of products that you can purchase right now? And you're like, oh, it's New York exclusive. No, here's the website. You can go get them right now for everyone. And it redirected you to a Splatoon 3 page, and it was sweatpants, hoodies, t-shirts, bucket caps, and there was like model fashion photos of it. And then Nintendo of Japan just put out you can get this Splatoon backpack that has an additional water bottle and container on it, like Splatoon 3. So they are leaning in very heavily to the IP and wanting it to be more than just a game IP, but rather, and again, I mean, that goes well with the actual product, right? It's very fashion forward. I mean, that hat back there with the white back of it, that is a Splatoon hat that I have. I'm exciid to get a new Splatoon hat when I go to New York City.
Heck yeah.
I got
first.
Sir Pith says, I got the shopping bag from my Nintendo. They are definitely leaning into it. They understand they have something there. So I'm very interested to see. They've said we're going to have lots of free updates. We're going to have, listen, we're going to talk about Splatoon 3 later in what we're playing, obviously. So I'm going to hold back a little bit of that, but I think it makes sense from the business perspective, what they've been doing. I'll stop.
Justin, where's the link to that merch, by the way?
I'll find it for you and I'll send it to you. How's that sound?
Please, because my son just texted me because he's watching the show right now. And it's like, what? I need this merch. He's all in on Splatoon. Like
the Japanese
I changed my
price
tune.
is
I'll say this. I changed my tune
6,500 yen.
Completely. I was, the guy at the beginning that was like, oh man, Splatoon 3 is just more of the same, blah, blah, blah. I really enjoyed it. It's been very good, minus the few connection errors. And congratulations, Nintendo. Business Justin, I wanted to ask you this while you're still in the pocket there.
Yeah.
Do we see this outsell Animal Crossing?
No. Lifetime sales?
Lifetime sales.
I don't think so. Because I think it's done very, very well. I think it's had a very high first week attachment rate, and I think it will do well. But Animal Crossing, there was a special sauce, right? There was the pandemic, there was isolation coming out at that exact same time. It made gamers who were not gamers again. And I don't think Splatoon has that like blue ocean complete broad strategy, because it is still a online arena-based shooter. Right. There's some levels of complexity where I think Animal Crossing was just so approachable to a normal audience. I don't think it will. I think it'll crack its top 5. Probably. I have to check where the Splatoon 2 is, or what the 5s. Mario 2 sold. Go ahead, Jesse.
Splatoon 2 sold 13.3 million, which is ranked 12th.
It'll crack the top 10, because I'm thinking your top 10 right now is Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, Smash, Breath of the Wild.
Oh, come on.
You need to beat 14.6 million to get to the top 10.
Yeah, I think it'll crack the top 10. I don't think it'll be it won't. I don't think it'll crack the top 5, because you've got Breath of the Wild in there, you've got Smash, right? I think and nothing will ever beat Mario Kart, right? So, and I just sent you that link, Marty.
Yeah, Animal Crossing is almost 40.
Thank you.
All right.
Animal Crossing is almost 40. Wow.
Well, as we all know and alluded to at the beginning of the show, when Justin was missing, he was busy playing these 3 new SEGA Genesis games that came out today on NSO plus Expansion Pack. That's why you were late, Justin. Didn't you know that? You were playing games? Yes, the SEGA Genesis game.
Who cares?
Alicia Dragoon, Beyond Oasis, and Earthworm Jim were launched.
Oh wait, Earthworm Jim, shut your mouth. It's go time.
There's at least one good game in there, possibly 2. Guys, I remember hearing Beyond Oasis when it first came out was really good, and it's a kind of Zelda-esque game, so you may want to check that out. Don't just write it off.
And of course.
Right, I'll give that a look if I have got free time.
Earthworm Jim 2 is in the SNES collection, isn't it?
Yes.
And before you go, Marty, I got a very important question from our community that I want you to be a part of.
Okay.
And that is from our friend, Super Nintendo. He said, I want to ask you all something that has absolutely nothing to do with the Direct. A fundamental question of life that really matters. The universe is waiting, so please enlighten us. Is a hot dog a sandwich? You're welcome.
It is between 2 pieces of bread. It is meat. It is a sandwich.
It's as much a sandwich as like a hero sandwich is. It's one piece of bread sliced with food and shoved in the middle.
And they call them sandwiches.
Yeah, you literally said hero sandwich, so I think it's Untitled.
And if anybody knows about sandwiches, it's Jesse.
You all are on crack. It is a hot dog, and it's just a hot dog. It is maybe not it's a sandwich.
Tim, have you ever thought maybe it's just it's a taco?
It is not a taco. It is not in a soft tortilla or a shell. It is a hot dog, plain and simple.
Then we have the pizza and calzone argument.
You don't call a hamburger in a bun a sandwich.
Yeah, we do.
You can call it a hamburger.
On some menus, I've seen it called a sandwich.
Well, they're on crack too. It's hot dog. It's just hot dog. It's not a sandwich.
Dang hot dog. Hi. Hey, everybody. Right. Hey, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself? I know I would. I'd cover myself in mustard and relish. I'd be delicious. Hey.
Alrighty then.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. That's a moment. Can you clip that one out as a moment?
I need to do that and
Yeah.
make another moment. There we go. There's that moment. All right. With that, we will take this for an ad break and say, see you later, Marty. Have a good night.
Bye, Marty. Hey, folks, today's support of NINDADS is brought to us by Manscaped. Ladies and gentlemen, I've talked to you about how much I love Manscaped, how much we use Manscaped here. But are you aware of the products that they have? They have the Lawnmower 4.0, great for taking away some body hair, and it's got a little bit of a nick guard protection, also used in the shower as well. Now, hey, if you're in the shower and you're actually trying to like take off body hair, that's going to clog up your drains really quite fast. So here's a great part. If you head over to manscaped.com, they can actually have in their premium performance package, when you purchase it, they've got a mat that essentially you put out in your bathroom before you jump in the shower, and you trim it. So all that body hair, I don't know about you, I'm quite a hairy guy. All that body hair gets captured into one spot, and you throw that in the bin as opposed to jumping in your shower, and that gets clogged down there as well. Manscaped has a fantastic catalog of products for you to jump into. Maybe you're like, I don't even know where to jump into. I'm going to tell you where you need to jump into. You need to go pick up the Performance Package 4.0. Tim, can you do me a favor? Can you go over to Manscaped right now and tell me what is in the performance package on Manscaped? Tim's going to tell you because there's some pretty fantastic stuff. And of course, when you're over in Manscaped checking out this performance package, you need to use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Now, Tim, what is in the performance package from Manscaped that someone can get when they pick it up?
Performance Package 4.0 includes the Lawnmower 4.0.
Lawnmower 4.0. Boom.
Weed
that
Whacker.
is a premium product. The Weed Whacker, that's for your nose and ears, right?
Crop Preserver.
Crop Preserver. That is a nice little spray for down below the belt line. You know what I'm saying? Kind of makes things feel a little bit fresher. Woo,
Crop
fresh.
Reviver.
Crop Reviver, also a little
That's
bit
the
of
spray toner.
So that's the spray toner. Thank you. Yes, Crop Reviver. Yep. Spray Reviver. Yep.
And that Magic Mat you were talking about.
The Magic Mat. Excellent
Plus,
stuff.
you get 2 free items. You get the Shed, which is the travel bag.
Man, it is a crisp leather looking travel bag. I actually have 2 of them and I absolutely love them. They don't look weird. They don't look crazy. It's just a nice travel bag for your toiletries that you can easily put your Manscaped products in there. They fit great. What's the other thing you choose there, Tim?
Anti-chafing boxers.
Anti-chafing boxers, which I have those boxers. I absolutely love. As a matter of fact, I was grabbing my boxers this morning, grabbed a pair. Boom. These are the Costco Kirkland. Get out of here. Get out of here, Costco Kirkland. I'm putting these Manscaped boxers on. So much more comfortable.
To the street.
They had holes in them. I'm like, get out of here. Manscaped, you got me covered. And of course they do have me covered. So head over to manscaped.com, use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support in 2022. Now, of course, if we're talking about support, we're talking about our amazing sponsors. I would be remiss if I did not mention the fantastic folks over at Gooder. Now, Gooder believes gaming and your glasses should be amazingly cool and awesome, just like these glasses that I have here. These are blue blocker glasses. Why? Because I'm in front of screens all day, and they are absolutely tremendous. I love them. They put them on first thing in the morning, and by the way, by the end of the day, my eyes aren't hurting. I don't have headaches, and I absolutely love them. Not only do they make fantastic glasses for gaming, and by the way, if you are tuning in during Extra Life 2022, when we're over in Rome, New York, you are going to see us wearing these blue blockers. Why? Because we got 24 hours of gaming, and I got to make sure the peeps are ready and secure to be able to do this. Now, not only do they make amazing blue blockers, and by the way, different kinds of blue blockers. If you like rounded kind of glasses, kind of like Harry Potter, they got them there for you as well. If you like his big frames, like big heads like I have, they got these. Tim has a different frame. What is yours, Tim? Yours is the... Do you remember what your brand?
Sorry,
name?
I was on mute. It's okay. The OGs.
The OGs. Mine are the BFGs. And what Jesse's sporting right now? Jesse, what do you got there?
No idea what these are.
You got like you got the flux capacitors. So they've got these amazing gaming glasses, but ladies and gentlemen, they also have amazing glasses for all the other things that you do. You're running. They've got some glasses that you can use for running. Golf. Got this. They are polarized. They help take the sun off. They are fantastic. And by the way, if you look at any of my photos for the summer, you're going to see that I am one step away from being a Gooder fashion model. Dreams can come true. I'm really hoping for that contract from Gooder. But ladies and gentlemen, you should pick up some sweet, sweet sunglasses. And by the way, it's never too late to be looking fashionable and awesome, and Gooder helps you in that category. Head over to gooder.com, use the code NINDADS, NINDADS for 15% off. Big thanks to Gooder for their continued support as well. Back to you, Tim.
Excellent ad read, sir. Excellent job. Now let's go on to the events. You know, Justin, you should look into doing ad reads professionally.
Are you being a bit of a smarty pants?
Not at all, sir. I really think you should.
If only the companies would hire me that I keep auditioning for.
I know. Keep trying. Your dream will come true soon. All right. Events. We have our dinner table tomorrow night. So if you're not a Patreon, not a Twitch subscriber, you're not in our Discord, you need to come join if you want to come talk to us at the dinner table, where we talk about everything and anything all at once in our dinner table.
All at once.
Everybody's talking.
You just put it in a blender and you zip it up together and oh, it's everything at once.
So anyways, it is a fun podcast, or actually it's not a podcast anymore. We actually don't record it anymore. It is something where just the community gets together, chit chats about everything, all that happens throughout since the last time we got together. So come in and join. And the only way you can join again is if you're a Patreon or a Twitch subscriber and you're in our Discord. Again, tomorrow we'll have it happens every third Friday of every month. And that's tomorrow, September 16th. And it'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So come join us. And as Marty had mentioned earlier tonight for Extra Life, when we were talking about where we will be for this year's Extra Life, don't forget that you can still join our crew and you'll get $10 from Extra Life to start your earning your donations. So towards the hospital of your choice. And it'll also go towards our overall group amount that we have for $5,000. So again, if you want to come join the Nintendo Dads, come join us going through nintendodads.org, and you'll see our Extra Life link there at the top of the page, right below our announcement of us being live together for the first time in person in New York at Phoenix Overdrive's event for their Extra Life fundraising. So, but we all, again, each individual gets to raise money for each of their own hospitals. So, and we'll talk more about this too later on, because we have some more content in regards to that. So Justin wasn't part of the first time we talked about it, so I'm sure he.
No, I apologize.
No, you're good. So again, join us on the Extra Life team, or just come join in when we go live on November 5th for 24 hours, raising money for our various children's hospitals. So come join us then. Come hang out with us. We'll be playing games, I'm sure, online like we usually do. We'll be figuring all that out in the coming weeks as well. So, and we'll try to.
We are going to have just an absolute chaos of fun, folks.
We're just going to have fun.
Not only are we going to be playing games together online, you're going to see us there. We're going to have some drop-ins by some of your favorite content creators. We're going to be dropping into their streams. It's going to be absolute chaos. Like 24 hours live. Well, actually, I'm going to stop us there. It's actually 25 hours, because, ladies and gentlemen, that's the day the clocks go back by an hour.
Is it
a
really?
25-hour stream.
Oh my!
I was chatting back. I use the word backstage, but behind the scenes with Lee, and they're like, "Oh, wait a sec," or I was like, "Oh, it's 25 hours." I see why you did that. So that's pretty cool. But man, we're excited. We are so excited. Yeah, I hope you guys can join us for this adventure. I hope you're as excited for it as we are. I see some folks are in the chat as well.
Join us live in person, join us live online, join us any way you can is the point. So Don't forget to do that. Now let's move on to Jesse's PokéMinutes, Justin's favorite part of the show.
Oh.
Pika, Pika, Pikachu!
I hate you all.
The Test Your Metal event begins tomorrow at 10 a.m. through September 21st at 8 p.m. local time. Togedemaru, the roly-poly Pokemon, will make its Pokemon Go debut. During the event, catching Pokemon with nice, great, or excellent throws will increase the candy received and increase the chance to receive Candy XL. Ultra Beasts, Celestial Celesteela and Karatana have been in 5-star raids since Tuesday and will continue through September 27th. Celesteela is only available in the Southern Hemisphere, and Karatana is available in the Northern Hemisphere. Mega Aggron will be in raids from September 16th through the 27th.
Thank you, Robo Jesse. Now let's move on to what we've been playing.
You know, you hear it on the show. It is so much more frightening in real life.
It's Robo Jesse has taken over Jesse.
So much.
Jesse's just a meat puppet now.
Just a meat puppet.
Never fleshy Jesse. That's what he called
what I've
me.
been saying about Jesse for a while is he's just a meat puppet.
Justin, what have you been playing, sir?
Yeah, a couple games I've been playing. You want to talk about Splatoon 3?
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about Splatoon 3. I've been playing that. I've put in, I'm putting a fair bit of time between Splatfests, between Salmon Run, between the main campaign. I just actually found out where the card game is that you play. I literally had to look that up. I was like, I have these card decks. I'm like, here's my complaint about Splatoon. There are some great things they have done from the UI that oh, here it is in the map and you can quickly jump to it. But I don't feel like it's greatly easily labeled sometimes to where is this thing? So in the city,
yes, I agree 100%.
I'm like, where, I'm like, am I an idiot? Did I miss where the card thing
I can't
is? No,
read that language right
alley.
now. I can't read that language that's on the signs in the stores there. So it's I'm like, how do people know where to go? But I mean, you can jump in from the menu and just buy stuff, I guess, too. So, but
yeah, and I'm
walking in the wrong stores and stuff.
Yeah, in this case, it was literally there's a back alley back here where it looks like there's a drug deal going down, and they're playing cards. I was like, okay, yeah. I had to watch a YouTube video to figure out where that was. Shame on, maybe that's on me because I didn't read something. I don't know. And then I had to figure out how do I get to my locker to be able to figure. So there were some things there. I
still don't have stuff to decorate my locker.
Really?
I only have a few things, but I have not received enough stuff yet.
I did some of my stuff in my locker. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I looked at other people's lockers. I was like, oh, I am not good at all.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying I didn't receive enough stuff to compete there.
It reminded the lockers remind me of Animal Crossing, right? Let's build a room, right? In Animal Crossing. And you're like, that's okay. That's what you're doing here. I get that. The card game, I think, is a really cool aspect. Here's a funny part. Legitimately, folks, when this game was announced, I was traveling. Not when the game was announced, but when the direct happened for it, I was traveling. I don't know if you remember that, Tim.
Yes.
On the East Coast, and we dialed in or was listening to it live, and Jody was messaging.
Yes.
And they were like, "Oh, and there's a card game," and I actually thought it was an actual card game. I thought that we had to go to EB Games and buy cards, sort of like Magic the Gathering for Splatoon. And I was like, I can't figure out where I buy these cards from. I was legitimately do I pre-order packets of cards? This will be cool. I'll try a card game. Yeah. No, it's card game in the game. So my bad on that one.
Game within the game.
So this is not to say the game has a problem, more that I'm an idiot. And that's okay. Right. So I would say this, I find the online, I know some people struggle with the online. I haven't really had many struggles with the online. I've been able to get into matches really quickly, which is great.
Same.
I've had a couple where somebody drops out and then everybody drops out. I wish that Nintendo would find a way to patch that where this person dropped out and now somehow the balance becomes a little bit different, right? So now it's just 3-on-4, but by the way, you did lose somebody, you probably are going to lose a match. But there is some kind of you stuck through for the 3 minutes. So you get some kind of bonus as opposed to hard stop, which I think is a bit irritating. They have a battle pass season. You know me, my battle passes. I'm all about this. I love it. I struggle with the UI or the UI design, the user interface design to sometimes figure out where everything is. And I'm like, I can see that there is a battle pass. I can see that I am getting stuff towards my battle pass. I don't know what the next couple things are in my battle pass. I want to scroll through my battle pass and see what's number 75. I can't do that, but I can do that on the phone in the app. And that's stupid. I don't want to do that. So maybe I'm just missing something completely plausible.
You are not. I have no idea what you're talking about. Actually, I didn't know there were seasons. What is this thing you're talking about?
So the Battle Pass season is the catalog. So when you go into Splatoon 3,
Is this similar to like Switch ports where you fill out the card?
No, this is legitimately very much similar to like Fortnite. Like they have like, here are certain t-shirts, here's certain gear, here's the stuff. And at certain levels, if you're at level 7, you get this t-shirt. Level 8, you get this hat. Level 9, you get this. Those go all the way up to 100. And they're a season. I think they're like 90-day seasons. And so that, it is literally, it's Fortnite in regards to that. So that's kind of cool. I like that part of it. It is that kind of like that battle royale component that I like.
I did see it. I just didn't realize that's what that was.
There's a lot of like meters that are going up that I'm like, I'm level 7 catalog. I'm level 8 on my squid, and I have a B-. Yes. I don't know what the hell's going on. I was like, there's a lot of gauges that are going.
Level 4 on that one. So
yeah. There's a lot of like weird gauges that are going on. And then you're like, oh, and by the way, I'm an avid pro in Salmon Run. Like there's all these different categories that you're like, okay, what's going on? But they definitely took some elements from stuff like Fortnite or the Battle Royale genre, where it's like, oh, and by the way, your banner can be updated. You can customize your banner. You have different emotes. So there's definitely pieces of the Battle Royale multiplayer online strategy genre that they have pulled into the game, but they haven't, that I think are good. Now they haven't double monetized it, right? There is no season pass of you pay $12 and do this. It's just, here's a season for, I think it's 90 days or whatever it is. New season restarts. I think that's a really cool method. But again, I think their design, their UI sometimes gets a little bit cluttered and in their way. I am having fun playing the game in the solo campaign. I think that's cool. Been enjoying that experience. I am going to make the argument, and you're all going to be mad at me. I still don't know if it justifies a new game. I still am avid, and I've bought it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a great game. Absolutely loving it. I definitely feel like this could have been a welcome to Splatoon 2.5 patch. Maybe it's $40 that you pay for, and it's a new DLC and it's a new storyline, and all this kind of rolls into an evolving game as a service. I think they could have done that.
Wow, now, look at all the people who are dropping off our viewership here. Well, that's crazy. No.
Yeah, I should say, right? Justin started talking about cloud gaming for 40 minutes, and now he's talking about free to play. Everyone's out of here, right? But I will say I'm obviously wrong because we see the sales numbers. So the sales numbers did fantastic. But
I don't think you're wrong.
Me when we get to our quarter numbers, that'll be already like 10 million or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong though either. I think Splatoon would have done very well if it was a free to play format as well. Yeah. So it just,
I'm having a great time, and it's got its hooks in me, right?
Sorry, Sean said, "Stick to your glasses and ball trimmers, Mason."
You and I are gonna have some words, Mr. Sean Capri. We're gonna fight, Canadian fight to the death.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, all but right. It just sold 3.5. I know it sold 3.5. Catch up. All right, Capri, catch up.
He's got to bounce around. He's a famous guy. He's got to bounce around all the different places. He's got to go say hi to his people.
We're gonna hug. We are gonna hug. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time. Tim, what do you think of it?
I've probably played more of this Splatoon than I have any of the other Splatoons. Just because timing wise, I guess maybe I enjoyed the other ones. I played them briefly, but I did not get as high of a level as I am now. I think I'm level 7. And I think even in Splatoon 2, I only got to split to level 4. Mm-hmm. So
I think I got to level 6 in the original game.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. And it's something that even though, and I like the app, I've been going back to it. And I'm learning more stuff about it too, actually, because I went back and I didn't even realize I could look at all the battles I've won and lost. So
yeah, and there's a replay function in there as well that you can.
Yeah, there's many things a lot in there going on, and then there's another aspect of it too, that the Splatnet shop, where once you've earned enough, money, you can go back and earn that stuff that's you can only get on the mobile app version of the shop.
Yeah, they did that before in Splatoon 2. You could actually pre-order stuff in the app.
Okay.
And then it would like
think I remember
arrive. It
that.
would arrive in game. So
Yep. So if you make sure you collect your money, don't go blowing it all in the game.
Yeah.
Check and see if you can get some rare stuff there.
I am really interested in seeing their long strategy with this. And they have said 2 years support. They have said major DLC.
Yes.
Just think there's a couple little UI UX things that need to just be a little bit updated. I have some challenges with. I'm not
sure will be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure I understand stuff like why the whole like the cleaning, like when you're online cleaning and you can copy and then there's people in your lobby. I don't fully understand that part. And also when someone says they're joinable, I was like, oh, I wanted like great example. Today I was online, Drew was joinable. I was like, awesome. I'm going to join Drew. I thought I was joining Drew's team, not a match with Drew. So I was on the opposition. So Drew and I played about 3 matches together. There was 2 matches where we were against each other and 1 match we're on the same team. If I want to play with a friend, I kind of want to play with my friend. Like I want to be on the same team with them. And I don't know if maybe there is like if we can get you on there, great. If we can't and it cycles, you just happen to
that's a good point. I noticed that too. I think a couple people tried to join me and I noticed them on the other side of the team, so it would be cool if I can join in very easily with somebody while they're playing with randos, that'd be very cool. Maybe that'll come later on as they, as they got this out the door. Now they'll have some updates as they go through, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm having fun with it. And I in fact bought 2 more copies of it. So my kids would each have a copy and we could start playing, some team ups or something. So,
okay. That is definitely a commitment then.
Yeah. So that's how much I've been liking it from my side. What else you been playing, Justin? Anything else?
The other game I was playing, I did a stream of it recently, yesterday actually, was Flynn, Son of Crimson, because it marked their 1-year anniversary. And the fine folks over at Thunder Studios reached out and said, hey, would you like to do a stream? And I said, yes, I would. And this is a game that I think a lot of people unfortunately passed on. This was actually last year. I remember doing one of our shows. I put it on like one of my top games of the year, and you were all like, what game is this? Flynn, Son of Crimson. It is, and it was great. I had the community manager in the chat with me, and I asked like, what inspired this game? And because you could tell it's inspired by so many things, but Mega Man is highly inspired by it. Donkey Kong Country is inspired by it. Sonic 3, and Breath of the Wild. And you can kind of see these elements in it. It's got a beautiful art style. It's a pixel-based art style platformer, kind of 16-bit, just a fantastic, fun platformer with some great elements to it. It's a wonderful game. I've enjoyed playing it. There's some great level design, great music, characters are great. There's kind of an RPG skill tree, a little bit like of leveling up stuff. I would highly recommend it. Flynn, Son of Crimson. It's actually leaving Game Pass this week, I believe. That's what Emily had mentioned in the chat. If you haven't, I think you should really, really check it out. If not, wish list it. And I guarantee you're going to enjoy. I shouldn't say guarantee you're going to enjoy it. You are going to enjoy it. If you like kind of the games that I play, and by the way, I have a stream out. You can check it out. I think you should pay it, pick it up, and support this amazing developer and company as well. That's what I've been playing.
Nice. Jesse.
So I've been continuing Picross 3D Round 2. I didn't think I was going to keep playing it, but it seems to be like a good... I have 10 minutes. I guess got off a call. I have 10 minutes before the next one. I pick it up and take a small break with it. And it's, I'm going through it. I rolled credits on it, which is about like 2/3 through all of the puzzles. So I probably will be able to finish it before the next show. Then I'll need to find something else to do for my 10-minute break games. Probably go back to Logic Pick because I haven't played that in a while. And something that I've been threatening on doing for several years now, and I finally started it, a replay of Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Skies. I'm like 4 or 5 hours into it. I remember this game taking like 75 hours the first time, but I hear other people say that it's not that long. So I think I just overly grinded. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not that far into it, and I've done that before. I do want to because this one has a job system, but we're like Final Fantasy's job systems. If Hero 1 is a warrior, and then changes to something else, and Hero 2 becomes a warrior, it's starting over. But here, if I remember right, because I haven't gotten to the point where I changed jobs, if Hero 1's a warrior, changes out, and Hero 2 becomes a warrior, it takes on what Warrior 1 already learned. So it does speed things up. And then once you get to a maximum level, you can respec to get better stats and go down to level 1 and level up again. So this game can be played forever if you wanted it to. So
It's a forever game.
yeah, because when I played it the first time, this game's 13 years old. So when I played it when it was new, it took 75 hours to roll credits, and I think I put 250 hours in total. Unlocking all the jobs and
Nice.
getting all the abilities and skills from them. And and if you max out certain skills, they maintain some skills when they change to jobs, so you can just end up with a massive magic user sage like character that has sword skills, and so you can, like, depending on how many jobs you've maxed for each character, you can come up with some really crazy specs. So that'll be a game I play off and on for a while. And then the last game I want to talk about is RPG Time: The Legend of Wright. Tim finished it last week, where I was just getting it started. I pretty much played through the entire game in a week, of which yesterday I think I played through half the game alone yesterday. I don't know how long total. 14 or 15 hours probably sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that surprised me about this game is a large variety of little mini games involved.
Mm-hmm.
Even just boss fights aren't the same type of combat every time. There's something different in each one, and it actually got me thinking. I did die a lot, because sometimes it takes me a while to figure out what the trick is.
How many notches did you get? Do you remember?
I think I got like 18 or 19.
Okay. I think it's probably where I was about. We're from 15 to 20 is what I was going to say.
Yeah, I normally go if I go 3 deaths, then I'll take the hint. There's a hint option on the game over screen, so it'll tell you.
I took hint once, and I can't remember what it was for. It was late in the game, and it was frustrating me.
Was it for the armored horse?
No.
Okay. I think I took the hint 3 times total. At least twice, maybe 3.
No, it was later on, and I can't think of it. But go ahead.
So yeah, I liked it. Little something I want to kind of debating with myself whether I want to even mention it, but I think I will, because it's not really spoiling anything. But when you finish the game,
oh yes,
you basically have a solid the end screen, and it soft locks there. The only way out is to force quit the game. Relaunch it, you get a little bonus scene.
Yes, I think if you're playing the game and you beat it, make sure you relaunch the game.
I think a lot of people would just stop there and not go back in.
Right.
So I'm not going to say what happens, but that gives it. There's an extra bonus scene
it's another added thing to the whole charm of this game, which I mentioned before. This game just oozes charm. And lots of stuff happening in it. And
like Voice of Cards, where it's become a series now. A third game was just released this week. I plan on starting that this weekend. They basically said there's going to be more of this coming.
Yeah.
So I'm in. Next time an RPG Time shows up, I'm in. It's if you like RPG games, it's short. Give it a try.
I liked how short it was, and I also liked what you mentioned, the variety of mini games that you get throughout, the different ways you battle in the game kept it fresh.
Yeah, Yeah, there was one of the mini games was like a Minesweeper like on a 6x6 field, but the number of bad squares, I won't say how many because is relatively low, that it was kind of easy. So even if you're
There's
not,
a lot of easy elements in the game for sure.
So if a game would normally be tricky in a logic puzzle sense, it's not here. And there was some puzzles where they even said, if you don't want to do this, hit the skip button and I'll solve it for you.
Yes.
I didn't need to do that.
It is meant to be fun. And that's why I said it's a good game. I think a good entry point for a lot of kids who are looking to get into RPGs too, I think.
There is one stage where the game actually says, if you are a younger kid, play it with a parent.
Yeah.
and at first I'm like, oh yeah, really? What's it going to do? I'm like, yeah, it got kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And
I've heard you guys talk about this
RPG time.
RPG time
Legend
for last,
of Wright.
Yeah. And I've been tempted, but I don't trust you. No, I think you're all wrong.
Go watch our videos. Go watch my video.
I don't want to be ruined, Tim. No, I've heard you guys chat about it.
Marty likes it.
Well, then
Marty,
I'm not going to.
I thought you and Marty like games, the same
It
games.
depends. We have a Venn diagram that doesn't necessarily overlap.
I was going to say, ask Marty what he thinks of it.
I mean,
He
not
wasn't
like
on
our
to
Venn
talk about it.
diagrams that are two uniquely
Our
separate
Venn
circles.
diagrams. Although I will tell you that after I watched that video, there was one you were like, oh, you definitely don't like this game. Then I watched it. I was like, oh no, that looks like it's a Justin game.
Which one was
Which
that?
one? Now you got to tell me which one it was.
It was in one of those, like an indie direct. It's Piper or Flute or, oh my gosh, it's like Paper Mario. And
Is that the Plucky Squire?
Yep,
That
Plucky
one?
Squire. There
Okay.
it is. There it is. I saw that afterwards. I was like, oh no, that looks good.
Yeah, and you said Plucky Squirrel, and I made it, and that turned
I
that
did. That sounds about right.
that was the title of the show that week.
All right. Jesse, that was all that you played, right?
Yes.
Was it? All right.
Tim's like, for the love of gosh, please.
That's all I see on his list. Justin, geez.
I see the list too. Don't be shooting me the negativity there, Tim.
It looks longer, but the
That's what she
games
said.
are all like 6 words each.
All right. I've been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, which you guys heard me talk about before. It's a good game just to jump into every now and then and do the things I need to do and complete a quest maybe and move along. And the only funny thing is there's elements of Animal Crossing to it where you can design your house and stuff like that. I barely touched that part of the game. I've just been doing the quests, and I'm getting a lot of customization parts and clothing and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still wearing the same thing I wore day one when I started the game. My house is only slightly changed because I just had to do a quest on building up my house a little bit more. But I still didn't put anything in it other than a stove so I could cook stuff. So I haven't done much on that side.
That's more than I did in the home flipping simulator.
Oh, yeah.
Built the house and forgot to put in a kitchen.
But it's right now Splatoon 3 has been taking most of my time if I can. But I've learned not to play Splatoon 3 when I go to bed. I did that one night where I decided, hey, I'll fire up Splatoon 3 and maybe play a couple rounds. Nope, I was up for 3 hours up till like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I've done that before. With like I want to go to bed at 10 o'clock and like something distracts me and I realized it's midnight 30 now. Crap.
Right. Yes. My wife asked me the next day, she's like, how late were you up playing a game? It's like, I don't want to say.
Anya.
Right. And then I also, before we started the show today, I've been playing more, but I streamed Wayward Strand. It's a game that came out today. It's kind of like a choose your own path story. Choose your own adventure in a way. But basically I played it when we got the code from the developer for it. I've been playing it for about a week, and then I did a stream of the second day today. And it's basically it's a story about a young lady who is 14 years old, She's on summer vacation, and her mom has her come to work with her. And her mom is a nurse. I'm assuming she's a nurse from what I'm getting out of the story, and works in a hospital. Now, the interesting part is one, it's the year 1978. That's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is that she works in a floating hospital, meaning it's in, kind of like an airship that's docked and has been converted to a seniors living center hospital type place. So you're going in and you're this daughter who's helping out her mom by helping out around this hospital, this floating hospital. So you got to go between floors and kind of listen in to some of what's being talked about in these rooms where these senior citizens are living. You can listen in on the crew on the ship and the nurses on the ship. You can also talk to the people by going to sit down with them. You're supposed to be helping. That's why you're there. So there's some situations where you're going to be helping either the crew or the senior citizens on the boat. And then you can start asking questions along the way that pertain to things you've overheard in some of the rooms. So it's almost kind of like a little bit of a detective story, but part of her story, this 14-year-old girl, is she's using this opportunity to write a school paper about this boat, this airship. So that's why she's asking a lot of questions. But there's a little mystery to it, to where there was one senior citizen who passed away the day that she arrived. And so there's a lot of chit chat about that. There was a conflict between two of the senior citizens, between one that's alive and the one that passed away the day before. And so there's a lot of talk about that. And then there's also a lot of talk about some of the past of these senior citizens, a lot of story about wartime scenarios and stuff like that. So the other interesting part about this is that the replayability of this game is interesting, because I'm still playing my first time through, and I'm on the second day, and I believe there's 3 days total. But while you're going into listening to the rooms, listen in on the people's conversations or talking to people, everything else on the ship is still going on. So you are missing bits from
It's
other
like
people.
a Majora's Mask type of thing.
Possibly, I guess, yes. So, but yes, it's like it's going on in real time. So you come in at the beginning of the shift of your mom's shift, and then you leave at the end of her shift. And during this time, you get a watch in the bottom right corner of your screen, and you keep time throughout the day. You can go to lunch with everybody, and you can have conversations with the people having lunch. But you're missing out on other conversations that are going on in the rooms, and people are walking around having conversations with each other. So you can be missing out on a lot. And that's why there's the replay value of the story. So you could learn more probably on playing through a second or third time. So right now, again, I'm only going through the first time, and part of it is just finding out what the history of this boat is, and on a particular guest or particular senior citizen living there. So I've been finding it very fascinating, and I equated it to people also, if into reading or listening to audiobooks, that they may be, if you have a Switch, you may be interested in playing this game in place of that. So like, instead of me playing Splatoon 3, after that one night, I started playing this, so I could play a little bit, do a little investigation, and probably get to getting a day completed quicker. I still have a little wait. I got maybe about 3 or 4 hours left on this particular day to finish out the day. But I figured it was a great opportunity to play something nice and calm. The music's nice and relaxing. There's nothing really crazy going on other than you just trying to be engaged in the story. The other thing I mentioned too is maybe even if you're an early riser, just having a cup of coffee and doing this, this game. So in the morning instead. So I think it's one of those type of games that's really relaxing, and you could just really sit back and enjoy.
And again, that's Wayward Strand. That's out now, right, Tim?
Yes, Wayward Strand. It is out now on the Nintendo Switch. And again, I did a stream of it, so you can go watch a replay of, I think I did 45 minutes of it on that stream.
That's great.
So that's what I've been playing, and that's what we've all been playing. Let's move on to the community spotlight.
Do it.
All right, so really quick, I'll go through. We have, again, our family of podcasts. They also have all of their contests that they have going on. Monthly Mayhem, the new one hasn't launched yet, so stay tuned to the Dad's After Dark show for when they announce their next Monthly Mayhem. And also listen to their show for any bounties that they have going on. So, which we recently just helped them give out a prize for $100 for their last bounty because it was a big deal.
That's how we do.
And then Game Pass News is going to be dropping, if they haven't already, their achievement hunters thing that they have going on. So take a listen to all of those shows, keep tuned into them, and you'll get to hear when they do their contests. Also, speaking of those family of podcasts, we have, don't forget to listen to Game Pass News, Dad's After Dark show, Retro Logic, On Topic Retro, or Retro Groove. All of those podcasts have something different for everybody. Again, Game Pass News does Xbox types content. Dad's After Dark show is the type of show you listen to after you put your kids to bed and you listen to some good old fun dad talk, after dark talk. And they talk about games, of course, too.
Like they usually open with a dirty joke.
Yes. And then the Retro Logic, that is hovering around the retro stuff. You know, you got retro games where they're talking about retro fighting games, or on topic retros, talking about various games on the NES, Super NES, Game Boys. And then Retro Groove talks about games, music from, like, say 30 years ago, you know, from the 90s, movie soundtracks from the 90s. So lots of varying content and lots of stuff in our family of podcasts to listen to. So with that, let's move on into the questions we get from all of our community members. And again, thanks for sending us to those questions, everybody. We look forward to these all the time. So a question from the email comes from Russ G. Wondering what Jesse thought of Minotaur Prince. Personally, I felt let down by the second half of the game. I found myself successfully solving the light and circuit puzzles without even understanding why. I heard Jesse's comment last week on getting the more powerful sword, and I'd found it earlier, but unless I missed something, the game never explained how to get it out. For that puzzle, I again brute forced, luck completed it. That's how I felt in the second half of the game, that I was doing things successfully without knowing why. So while the Sleeping King was charming, I found Minotaur to be more of a chore. Don't get me wrong, didn't hate it, still enjoyed it overall, but I felt let down for the second half of the game. Perhaps I did not heed the mantra of high hopes and low expectations, though. Jesse, what are your thoughts on that?
I haven't gone back to it since I wasn't able to get that third sword. John Blanco kind of gave me a hint about what needs to be done, and I just haven't had a chance to go back and do it. And
this is Blossom Tales, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because the question was just about Minotaur Prince, so I was completing the title.
It's Blossom Tales 2.
Okay.
And even he said that he needed to look up solutions to like two of the puzzles, and it was really, or was it Drew? I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of those. But right. And so which hearing that kind of did de-incentivized me from wanting to continue. And I had other games on my list I wanted to play anyway. I want to try to get back into this game, but again, normally if I fall out of a game, I don't get back.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so it sounds like you got further than I did, ultimately.
All right, Russ, just if you want comment on this video, or I'm not sure if you're in our Discord, you can come in our Discord and ask more questions. Maybe you guys can have a conversation a little bit more deeper.
You can start a thread and other people can hop in.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Maybe a forum post, because those are new.
And the forums, Discord forums.
I don't know why that's a thing, because it's completely weird.
Get off my lawn. No. Questions from the Discord. Chris HL, why wasn't there a loft wing in the Legend of Zelda footage? That's what you alluded to earlier, Justin, I think. Or was it Marty
might have.
Marty.
Yeah. So we answered that question. And Zablanc later asked, did anyone else find it unusual that there were no significant additions to Nintendo Online, considering we're in annual renewals time? Every year has been something big, SNES, Genesis, N64, but this time we just get a preview of the monthly N64 games. Plus, I guess the big Game Boy rumors of last year were just that.
Yeah. My commentary to that again is I think the annual cycle has moved to November because of when
I think last year they did the big push in October instead of September, and
it was like the mid to end of October.
It's like 13 or 12 and a half month cycles instead of 12-month cycles.
Yeah, we talked about it in the Discord too, that and I mentioned it there that I thought that we would probably get a either mini video on the next NSO thing or just a Twitter announcement, with a what's new news bit on it. So bless you. So great question. All right. Jamie, the JDP Cart 18. Can we finally start ignoring these Nintendo insiders? Yes. Too many people are falling for their words and believing them just because they have a reputation. I think we kind of, I mentioned that too. That was my low light of the thing, was that kind of ruins it for me in a way of these directs now because of the insiders.
You were angry.
Super Nintendo, we talked about his question, but I want your answers, guys. Well, actually, we all answered it. So that was the hot dog question. And Mecha, first, shout out to Mecha Dad's. First, we want to shout out to Mecha Dad's dad, who is celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Mecha Dad.
Woot, woot.
So, and then also his question is, with Halo Infinite axing out local split screen multiplayer, do you think it's truly the end of split screen multiplayer? Has companies given up on even attempting to make it work, or can it even still work in today's day and age of gaming?
Well, I mean, I think, I think it's a great question. I mean, there is still a desire and a want for local couch co-op multiplayer, and I think you just need to look as far as It Takes Two being like the game of the year last year and winning tons of accolades to understand that couch co-op is still a critical thing. I think what you're seeing is that game companies potentially may not be prioritizing in the way, but rather prioritizing online components of it, and that's what we saw from Halo.
Because you can't monetize local multiplayer.
Oh, you sure can't, right? But I think, so long. I mean, Nintendo is still the king of couch co-op. That's their belief. That's their mantra. I mean, you can just see that because they don't really super invest in their online infrastructure very well, but rather they believe that the journey is in the couch co-op, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited to see these guys face to face, and we're literally playing games in the same space and not having to deal with horrible internet. So I think Nintendo is still very much the belief that gaming is not an isolated experience, but rather a social experience, and that's their mantra. That's why they stay towards couch co-op. But I think the other ones just aren't in the same capacity, right? And so I think it's still also very much up to the publishers, right? Like I think of the Disney racing game that's coming out soon, Speedway or something like that. Is that split screen? I don't know. You look at games like Overcooked, right? Oddballs that's coming out here. Like, are these all online, or are they also local? The local split screen, the actual split screen, might still be questionable because that doesn't happen very often because it does take a little bit of different work. But
the updated version of GoldenEye for Xbox is going to be local play split screen. So
there you go.
So there's still something there.
Yeah,
that's what they're left with.
And then the old debate about don't peek in my sector.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, stop looking. I can see you. Right.
Right. All right. Mike Burgett already this week having a direct and a state of play. Do you have any predictions for any game reveals at the Tokyo Game Show? Anything else left?
I am tanked out. I have no after this week. I have no energy to even monitor TGS. So I'll just wait and see what the summary videos and tweets are as they come in.
I mean, Capcom did something this week or today, I think, as well. Wasn't Konami supposed to be talking about Konami?
Yeah,
Talking about beloved franchises coming back. I couldn't guess. I couldn't even take a wild speculation. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, Metal Gear Solid." Konami's not doing anything Metal Gear Solid. Don't even start with me. Right? They have such a checkered past with Hideo Kojima. Like that is
unless it's a re-release of something they've already done,
maybe,
like a collection or something.
Maybe, but I don't know.
Because there was speculation again with all of the insider information. There was speculation that there would be
if they did
Metal
that,
Gear
would they remove
collection.
Kojima's name on every game?
Yes, they sure would.
So yeah, who knows what kind of issues that would be. We also got a quick question in the chat from Beige 6410.
That's what I would say.
Splatoon 3 the thing to keep people subscribed to NSO?
No, but people will because they want the online play. But that's not going to be we're all going to subscribe to NSO because we have to subscribe to NSO. It's kind of like having a prostate exam, right? You don't want to have it, but you have to have it, and that's really what NSO is.
The big question is, will their DLC be bundled in with the expansion pack like other games?
No, it will be eventually. Just like how Octo Season 2 was, but it will not be.
After they cease support, then they'll throw it in.
I say that, but
that
like
was a
Mario
player thing.
I say that, but Mario Kart, I mean that's there, right? And Animal Crossing.
Maybe
so they've picked some they've picked some very profitable IPs.
Maybe the first player DLC might be free on NSO, and then their multiplayer ones will be purchasable.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think GoldenEye right now, if we don't get anything, NSO is the one that's the part for NSO.
You say that they do their DLCs with their high selling games, but yet an hour ago we said this was potentially top 10. So it'll be a high selling game.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like you look at Animal Crossing, you look at Mario Kart, and you look at Splatoon 2. Those were high selling games that have DLC via the NSO app. So that's why I was like, maybe I'm wrong there.
Great questions as usual. And I think we have one more voicemail.
We do. It's also from Christian.
Hey guys, it's me, Christian, again. I know I already called earlier this week, but I just saw the Nintendo Dad's big announcement video, and I just want to tell you guys I am so pumped up and also so sad at the same time because my family and I, even though we're a big fan of you guys, we have a Hanson concert to go to, and it's my wife's favorite band, so I can't make her disappointed. But anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm super excited to see you guys all together. You guys rock. We love your content here. And also, I was just thinking about the name for this. I know you're saying, Marty, Nintendo Dads do New York, but I think this should be Nintendo DadCon 2022. And then New York is fine. First year you guys are going to do this, New York. Please come to Orlando. That would be the coolest thing ever. I would love that. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day. See ya.
Oh man, if it works out to come to Orlando when the Mario World opens up down there,
that's
in Universal Studios.
Did we just get trumped by Hanson?
Yes.
Also, for those of you that don't remember who Hanson is, you need to go take a quick Google search and realize why what I just did is a banger. All right, it's fire, and you're gonna love it.
Yes.
I didn't even know that they were still around.
Oh yeah, I bet you. Well, I shouldn't even say bet you. Like obviously they are.
And what better way to end the show than on our topic of getting together November 5th for Extra Life. Also for the 400th episode, which we'll do on the 3rd. Hopefully try to do it live if we can. But we'll be live together and then doing a meetup on the 4th in New York at the Nintendo New York shop. So lots of stuff going on. We're all excited about what we announced today. Justin, you didn't get to come in and talk about it. What do you want to say about our reveal today, about all of us getting together?
Yeah, no, I am so excited. I also recognize how so tired we're going to be at the end of that trip. I don't know about you gentlemen. My flight out from Calgary is 6 a.m. Thursday morning. So it means I have to be there like 4 a.m. So I intend on sleeping on some flights.
My return home flight is that early on Monday morning.
Yeah. It's, listen, again, I talked about it on the video we did. This is super like humbling and crazy and amazing. And the fact that like we have worked together in this virtual Zoom capacity, like there is nobody other than my wife that I talk to more than the you three, right? On a weekly basis. And so to finally get to just be in the same place together and just hang out, like I'm excited to like Thursday night, sit down, crack a couple beers, right? Order pizza and just like chill and get and just get to like be in the same space together and just like understand who we are a bit more than just our screens.
Right.
And then
just,
to say
not just
to
this
like
room.
Yeah. And then to roll that around and then be like, tomorrow we're going to go to the Nintendo store. And we're going to do amazing things there. And then we're going to meet up with some of our friends, our content creators that we've had on the show. And then we're going to head over to Rome and do this big, amazing, like Friday night event beforehand. And then Saturday to roll into it. I joke about it, but like literally this show started in a Tim Hortons with two guys who didn't know each other and said on Twitter, hey, you might look like we have something in common. And somehow 8 years later, 400 episodes.
You brought me in for the technical knowledge.
We brought you in for the technical knowledge of it. 400 episodes, a whole spin-off of community that supports spin-off shows. Other content creators are creating their own stuff that we're super proud of and that have somehow been connected with us. Our community has raised over $20,000 for Children's Miracle Networks. We're going to raise more money. And then we're getting to see each other. And this is funded by support of our community. It's funded by the work that we do here, the hours that we put in, all those things. It is absolutely mind-blowing. There is a level of excitement in me that I can't even handle it. I just think about it almost constantly, which is not healthy. And I'm just so, and like going to New York is awesome. I've been there before. I'm not excited about going to New York. I don't really care. I've been to New York Nintendo store. I don't super care. I am like the moment that keeps playing in my mind is showing up at the Airbnb on Thursday, all four of us, and being like, wow, here we are. Right. Like that's the thing that just keeps
calling in a New York pizza to our place.
Yeah. Like just keeps going. And so it is really, really humbling and crazy. And I'm so excited and we are so blessed.
So Mecha Dragon's a little confused on the time frame. So let's just go through it one more time. We got November 3rd is when we're all flying in, right?
November 3rd is the Thursday.
That is the Thursday.
Thursday we're flying in.
On
that
Thursday.
night the show is live.
Yep,
we're recording it live.
We hoping to be streamed live.
Well, hopefully
it
you can
might
stream
be
it
streamed.
live,
it might not be,
depending on what kind of Wi-Fi we have there. And then Friday the 4th, we are meeting up at the Nintendo store at 10 a.m. with anybody who can make it there.
Yeah,
you don't have to be there.
No,
but we'll be there. And in case you want to be there too, that we'd love to meet anybody we can in person. Yep. And then we have to leave by noon to catch our train.
Correct.
So we'll be there.
We have about 2 hours, unfortunately, but it is.
Yeah. The rest of you people who can meet there, you guys can stay there and hang out in New York all you want. But we have to leave at noon because we have to get over to Rome on a train because it was the only latest time available that we could get on a train for. So we'll be in, doing the 4th there, and then we'll be in Rome later on the 4th, rolling into the 5th. Saturday morning is when we'll be doing the Extra Life stuff with Phoenix Overdrive.
Yeah, and we go live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on that Saturday. I hate you. Starting at 10 a.m.
We'll end at 10 a.m. Standard Time, but we'll start 10 a.m. Daylight Time.
Yeah, there you go.
Just say Eastern Time. We'll go with that.
And then we'll stream all the way until Sunday.
Yep.
And
that's
then
November 6th.
November 6th. And we're doing an extra hour because of daylight savings time. So 25 hours.
And then very, 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 I can't even say it. We'll each be leaving when we need to leave.
Yeah,
Sunday
I will
or
be.
Monday.
I'm leaving Sunday because my flight's a little bit more complicated and a little bit more arduous than you gentlemen. But I'll be landing in Calgary at I think like 1 a.m. Monday morning and then driving back to Lethbridge. So it'll be a very long day.
Yes, that will be long and ugly.
Yeah.
So, and then the rest of us will be flying back on Monday the 7th to our respective homeland. So, a home bases. So that will be this will probably one of the few times late in our lives that we'll be crazy running on few hours of sleep.
Yep.
And if any sleep, but we're going to soak it all up as much as we can. And something that, like Justin, you've been saying, that you keep going over your head. I am losing my mind. The fact that like you said, the community is allowing us to do this.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the community and the work that Justin, you put in for the sponsorships, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you, Justin. And thank you to the communities for allowing us to do this. Because originally we had goals on Patreon that were not met to do this. However, back behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows about, but Justin crunches the numbers and says, yeah, we can do this, and no, we can't do that, or type of thing. But it was like, hey, the opportunity came up, and Justin was like, hey, we can do this.
Effectively, we've been saving money up for this for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So things that we buy, and stuff like that, we try to watch our money and watch our pennies and all that kind of stuff. So thankfully we're able to do that.
I think our vision for when we spend money for the show, the way that we look at it is it's communal, and we do it for what has value or might have an impact that would be valuable for our community or valuable for the show. So whether that's buying new mics, right, buying new lights, picking up a game to be able to show or preview, or raffle and give away games and systems and stuff like that add value. We try and that's kind of our North Star for how we make these decisions. And I think that this is kind of like, this is very unique content that we'll be creating.
The planets aligned essentially, because again, it's extra life. We get to meet each other. It's the 400th episode. Just all these things just went right. So it just and it worked out. And
then to have Phoenix Overdrive, that team kind of reach out and express interest in us joining. And so it all, and then listening to some of our content, and I don't want to tell you which content creators are gonna be there yet, because I don't think there's official announcements, but when we had an opportunity to meet with that team and recognize which content creators were there, we're like, oh yeah, these are people that are in part of our, either we touch base on the podcast sphere, we've done work together, they've been on our shows, we've been on their shows, but to actually be able to literally come face to face and hang out with these people, is pretty incredible opportunity. And so it's gonna be crazy. Mecha Dragon, it's gonna be hard to top this one with a 500th episode. 500th episode is when we just stop the show. We're done. 10 years, we're pulling the plug. I don't care what's going on, we're done. It is tough, but I mean, but again, it goes back to that idea of just the support that we've had to do this. And I've said this before, whether it's through Patreon, whether it's through Twitch, whether it's through you watching our videos is literally people,
YouTube,
that helps, right? Because VOD, and that's monetization there, or whether it's you retweet or you share or you tag us, you use our promo codes, you listen to our show, you rank us on Apple Music or wherever it is. These are all things that you might not feel like they're big things, but for us as content creators, these are massive things that move us forward and get the attention of sponsors like Manscaped, like Gooder, some of the other companies that have reached out before in the past to say, hey, we would like to, could we do this? Right. And I think you probably understand recently, right? Like we can't make this a full-time thing, right? We all got careers that are paying a lot more. Right. And I think, as you've probably recognized this week through the video game industry, as I look at stuff over at G4, Fanbyte, there's been some massive layoffs, right? The video game industry unto itself being a full-time content creator or whatever it is very fickle, right? Especially in major corporations. So this allows for us to be independent, to make decisions for our small little company, and to have some amazing experiences. I will stop talking because I am probably ranting way more than I should. but my commentary here is thank you. Please subscribe to all the things that we do. The week leading up is going to be crazy. I'm going to tell you there are surprises in store that these gentlemen don't even know about yet. And so that you are going to get to be an opportunity to experience some pretty cool things as well. So please, thank you. And again, I've said before, if you are in the New York area and can make time for those 2 hours, I know that it's super busy. Other things, if you can't, that's no, like, my feelings aren't hurt. Also, please don't be a crazy person who like drives 12 hours to come to see us for like 2 hours. Please don't be a crazy person. If you're there, awesome. We'll have maybe some lunch. We'll have some hot chocolate or tea or coffee or sodas, and go into the store and just hang out and just be together. That's it. Like, and it's, we're not doing an autograph signing or anything like that. It's just like, hey, it's awesome to see you face to face, touch, shake hands and hugs and take photos and whatever you want. Like, I don't know. Sounds weird.
Yes, all of those things, and that's what we're all excited for. Just and to get it back down to the base, the foundation of it all, being able to hang out with these three guys after years of listening to most of them, my time, and then being a part of the show for a lot of the time too, is exciting for me. So I'm looking forward to it as well. So with that, let's wrap things up, close it out. And we'll say again, thanks to our 6,387 subscribers on YouTube, our 1,385 followers on Twitch, our 18 Twitch subscribers. All of those things, again, help us do the things that we're able to do here, as we mentioned. Also, use the code NINDADS at Manscaped or at Gooder for the various discounts that you can get there. Go to nintendodads.org/merch to get our merch, including the new merch that launched today at the beginning of the podcast about this contest. We got a new logo for the 400 episodes, the 4 dads, the 4 extra life, live and in person. Go check out that logo and watch our YouTube, and you'll see what we showed off on the beginning of the show as well there. You can also go to nintendodads.org to see where we got everything there. All of our socials, all of our videos, everything's linkable from there, and we'll get you to where you need to go. That's our hub. So don't forget, you can find us in most places in Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube by typing Nintendo Dads and find us there. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail, which, voicemail is getting kind of lonely lately. We haven't heard any. Well, no, Christian's been doing a good job.
Christian is keeping Mabel employed, although the fact that we let her go is kind of weird to bring her back to answer phone.
We got Robo Mabel now. Robo Mabel.
Oh my gosh.
929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237, excuse me, to get to our voicemail. So big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show, and download from your favorite podcast app of choice to listen to our podcast. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, and for Marty, thanks for everything you do for us, and we'll check y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Soundwave superior, Constructicons inferior.